Okay, welcome to the January 23rd Board of Selectmen's meeting for the town of Limerick. We'll now stand for a flag salute. Okay, first thing on the agenda is we have a public hearing for CIA salvage. Who's going first? You, Sean, or Stan?
Okay, to open this, I wanted to introduce it. It's CIA Salvage for their recycling license. And we're trying to correct the mishap that happened a couple months ago. So up front, Sean and the board both received an email of what some of the annual reporting in order to renew the license is expected. One of the key things in order to make any judgments or to base any knowledge on is we need a site plan. Without the site plan, we can't determine if there's been any changes. Can you hear all right? Okay. We can't determine if there's been any changes or not, other than what we have visually seen. So one of the biggest criteria is, and I spoke with his office manager for a little over an hour today, and they're going to work on one. It doesn't need to be professionally done, but they're going to work on one so that we will have an official site plan as to the existing layout. The site plan, anytime there's any changes, for example, the tire pile per DEP was moved to another location to get it off the Grandin sand and gravel aquifer. So that would institute a change to the site plan. It would have to be modified, and then the town needs to get a new copy, all right? For existing violations, there are none to my knowledge, but I haven't been on site to walk it by foot in recent weeks. The only thing in the past, which was, I was reminded in 2023, there was a discussion and an agreement that there'll be screening from the scales north to the end of his property. The other thing, there was a discussion about the pad being replaced, which is his prep area where he shreds the vehicles, I believe. And apparently DEP is now on the loop, and I guess they have told him it needs to be done by November. So those are the concerns that I have. I gave you a list of what the state requires for annual reporting, and those. Now, if information isn't satisfactory tonight for the board to make a complete decision, I also want it to be known that the statute does allow the board, and I put it in writing here, to issue a temporary one-time 90-day permit or a license in order for them to come into compliance. So just keep that in mind as you ask questions and go forward, and I'm here to answer anything for the town side, but I'm going to turn it over to you and Sean at this point. Unless there's other questions that you guys have for me.
Not yet.
Sean Gerard, CIA Salvage, here to renew my conditional, my recycler's license, not conditional use, my recycler's license, which allows us to sell parts. Any questions for me?
What Stan just mentioned about the fence, why hasn't that been done?
Why is what?
The fencing, it's not completed up from the...
Fencing is complete. I was supposed to put fencing from the end of the scale to the end of to the brook, and that's done. Been done for a couple of years. I don't have to fence where the scale is, and I don't have to fence a used car area in.
So from the scales going north to the end of the salvage yard,
Can you read it one more time, ma'am?
fence from the scales going north to the end of the salvage yard
Yes, and
within
that's
2
the
years.
end of the scale going north to the brook. And that's down between, anywhere from 8 to 12 feet of block in earth. I did not have to fence in the scale. You know, when people are coming in, they got to be able to see. The more you close up my entrance, people coming in, they can see on that side. If you close that off, you put an 8-foot-high fence there, right to the gate, then you got no visibility for the customers to come in. You're already coming in with 53 and 58-foot tractor trailers. They got to be able to see when they're coming in. And there was never a mention, because Stan would have been on me on that already, that it had to be fenced in front of the scale. And I would go to court on that. There's no fencing in front of the scale. Or is there in front of the used car lot? We've done all the fencing. If there was more fencing required, we would have put it in when we did the blocks.
Well,
I guess it depends how you read it.
on these notes I've got, it says it hasn't been completed, so.
Well, that,
You can stay there. Okay. When I spoke to Diane today, it wasn't completed, and she said that they found some more blocks to finish.
we are not putting blocks in front of the scale. If we're gonna do that, we're gonna shut this meeting down, and I'm gonna leave, and we're gonna get an attorney. That does not say, it says from the north end of the scale to the north end of the yard.
It says from the scales to the end of the yard,
That's right, and I'm right up to the scales now.
but it wasn't completed. You were short some blocks. And
No,
apparently
Stan, I am
that's-
not short blocks. We can take a meeting, adjourn the meeting and go right down there. I am right up to the edge of the scale. The scale has, you drive off the scale and there's a concrete slab right there. That box right there. I have not finished it. It's done.
Do you have a picture that proves that it's not done?
No, I'll have to go and see, right? But again, remember, the law says that the entire yard needs to be screened from view.
The junkyard starts at the end of the building where the Connex boxes are, and at the Connex boxes, it does not start at the scale. You do not have junk in the front yard. And you can't limit me to where I can't see and somebody gets in an accident, gets hurt, because then you're gonna get sued.
They're not asking that, Sean. They're asking you to keep the commitment that you made in 2023.
I did, and it's done.
Well, I'll have to double check that because the last I was aware of, it wasn't completed.
It is done. All right, so we'll table that, and then we'll have a shit show over that, because it's been done.
There's no shit show, Sean. We need to come to a clear understanding.
It is a definition. It says north of the scales, you will put blocks, and it will go all the way to the end of the yard. That's what I did.
It says, yes, all right, and again, to my knowledge, it hadn't been completed because you didn't have enough blocks.
I have plenty of blocks, Stan. It's been completed.
Then I'll need to re-verify that, that's
You
what we
can
do.
come right down tomorrow morning before I get there. Or we can go right after this meeting and go down and verify it.
We'll go tomorrow, Sean, because again, the meeting lasts a little longer than this, so.
How about the height, Sean? Is that where it's supposed
The
to
state
be?
requires 8 foot high, so everywhere you see those blocks, I don't know if I got a picture, but I saw the fan, he's got pictures, plenty of them. So it's just, every place it requires an 8-foot fence. A fence can be wood, metal, rocks, what's the definition of a fence, Dan?
Well, again, a fence could be anything, it could be rocks, it could be metal, it could be plastic, it could be wood. The block barrier or fencing that he put up is about 6 feet high, and the statute requires 6 feet, a minimum of 6 feet. So when you're standing inside the salvage yard going towards the retention ponds at the back of the property, it is about 6 feet tall.
On the outside, where it counts for the public, it's anywhere from 8 to 15 feet.
And there is quite a steep hill there, so it could be, I gotta say, it's at least 25 to 30 feet to the top of the stones.
I can guarantee you that if I was in violation, he would have been down already. And two, if I needed to put more block there, I would have put more block there. It says at the end of the scale, but you can't close me off. So when you're coming in the driveway like this, the scale's here, You're pulling in like this, you're looking through the trees that are there, the vegetation is there, so you can make that corner and turn around and come right up onto the scale. You're creating a hazard by doing it any other way.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, back when you had your approval, wasn't there supposed to be fencing? It was only, the only thing that wasn't
No,
supposed to be
no.
fencing is the gate
No,
area?
no. No, what we have there today is what was approved and what's been there for the last 15 years. I don't know when we did the block, we tried to put in a fence with telephone poles, but we couldn't drill the ledge. So that's when we got Stan to approve the cement blocks. So there's not, there's vegetation there that we don't cut out. But you can't limit that because then you're blocking everybody's view coming into that yard. And it's already tight enough now. You're coming in with, you got a 53-foot trail and another 26 feet for truck. You're 75, 80 feet for trucks coming in that yard. You can't limit it, and they come both ways. When Carroll was paving down here, or Allstate, we came in the other way to get her out of the traffic. So he's making that whole sweep turn right there to get back up on the scale. Never did I say that I would close in the scale and blind it so nobody could see. That's ridiculous. FR Carroll doesn't have to hide their scale. Nobody else does. I know I have a conditional use permit and I'm a special permit, but there's never been anything there. There was talk about me closing in the used car area with fencing. That's never gonna happen.
No, they didn't discuss closing in the used car area, and every conditional use is different, Sean. So
I understand it's different, but
Yeah.
I'm not here to get railroaded and I'm not here to create unsafe conditions.
If I'm driving from here to Cornish, what needs to be fenced in is from the furthest point of the scale going past.
Yes, and that's what's there
From
now.
the gate.
Yeah, so looking at Google Maps, it's the whole, you can see the scale from the road, and then the fence starts right after the concrete pad, and it's fenced the rest of the way. So in my mind, reading this, that has been completed, reading this.
Yes, I believe it has too.
But originally, when he was given the 2 years, it's supposed to go from the gate.
What does it say?
There was a bunch of discussion in 2023. What Wade just said is, when they discussed it, was to go from the gate to the end of the property. The other piece of that conversation was you were supposed to add what I call seedlings, but trees that are.
We did add seedlings in there. We added, all that whole length, we added seedlings.
Yeah, and again, when he did that, he was doing some damage, and that's when we discussed the fencing and turned it into blocks, which were inside his property line. So,
On the yard side, you're anywhere from 6 feet to 12 feet of block in the ground and above. On the roadside, you see the scale. The junkyard doesn't start until you get to the Connex boxes that are stacked and then down the end of that road. There's no junk in the front yard. It's no different than anybody having a front yard. You've got to be able to get in and out. You've got to be able to be safe. And you certainly, if I had violation, Dr. Farron would have been on it and I would have known about it a long time ago. It clearly states from the end of the scale to the end to the brook, and that's where we went.
and that validates the importance of having a site plan so everybody can see visually what it's supposed to be
No, it
laid out.
validates not witch hunting, because this is what I call witch hunting, and it's bullcrap.
Sean,
Stan, you're not gonna convince me it's not. We can sit here and argue till you're blue in the face and I am.
well, again, I'm gonna follow the statute. The statute says you need a site plan. That site plan.
We
will
can get a
give-
site plan. You just came up and told us now. We didn't know that the site plan that we gave you was not adequate.
Sean, ignorance of the law is no excuse, right? If you get pulled over for speeding and you say, well, I didn't know what the speed was, you're still gonna get a ticket and you're going to go to court, right? So we can't do that. You need a site plan.
Let's
That
go back,
would-
let's go back and stick to what we're here for.
Right, and again, the blocks are sufficient. My knowledge was, and I need to, and I already said that I
We
will
can
go
look at
back.
this Google Earth picture right there and we can end that discussion because the blocks are there.
Yeah. Well, again, my understanding were they were not complete because you ran out of blocks.
No, that is not true. We ran out of blocks and then we found another 300 that were, when we saw Dr. Farron's pictures that were in the yard, and we have another 100 there in the yard if we need them.
So that's all of 15 minutes it will take me to verify that.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
so-
Next.
But let's go on to the next concern, which I think Howard was bringing up.
You know, if we have concerns, obviously Stan's been nice enough to give you guys a piece of paper to come after me and talk about what we are. I should at least be able to read the same thing you are.
You do, you had it in an email, the same thing, Sean. And I'll share it with you. I got nothing to hide, Sean, all right?
Yeah.
That is the same list that I emailed you on May 18th. That's the statute, that's what's required for annual reporting.
All right, so where are we now? Concrete blocks and the screening by the scales. You'll come down and verify that tomorrow.
Yep.
Has the concrete, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Has the concrete pad been replaced
No,
within the
ma'am.
last?
No, I got till November.
Okay.
Well, and again, this is the difference between DEP and the town is more stringent in this case.
But the town already agreed that I had till November.
No, in 2023, John said, and there was a lot of backlash when John motioned to give you 2 years, which would have been 2025, all right? So again, talking to Diane, she said DEP gave you until November. So.
And the
at
town
this-
agreed to that as well.
No, they didn't. They gave you 2 years. Sean. But again, at this point, I don't think the board's gonna fuss because you're gonna have to do it by November, all right?
Yes, we are, yeah.
That's a few months away. So at this point, that's water over the bridge, but it wasn't done according to the agreement with the select board in
I
2023.
had no understand. I did not have an agreement with the select board. Then you find it tomorrow and we can go over it because that's bullshit.
Well,
I had 24 months to get that done, and the town agreed to the same timeline as the DEP did.
no, because that was with the planning board. With the select board, you agreed to do it back then with the trees or the screening and the pad. That was the two biggest things discussed
I
in
agreed to do it when
2023.
I do it in November.
That is in 2023. So you would have said November 2023?
I don't know what, you find it and we'll go over it.
I've already sent
Because
you the,
we agreed to do it at the same time as DEP.
I'll resend you the transcript of the meeting. But again, this is all now water over the bridge because now you're being made to by DEP. But again,
I've been mandated by DEP for like 4 years, Stan.
and they had no date, all right?
They had
The
no
town-
date, and then we came up with a date, and then we came up with a date for you guys as well.
The,
Find it tomorrow, we'll go over it.
now, DEP did not give you a time frame to put the pad in. The town did in 2023.
If I was overseeing, you would have already been knocking on my door. You called me and asked me when my
No,
water test is
no,
gonna be
No,
done.
I can't. And the same thing with 41 Range E. If it's written loosely, I am not going to write a violation that won't stand in court, all right? But when we come out of these meetings and you've got definitive timeframes, then I can write you a violation, all right? But again, it doesn't always solve the issue by writing it on paper. Talking to you first usually helps, okay?
Yeah?
So it was in 2023.
Bringing me down here to pull me through the mud and then throwing me through the grinder's not helping either.
Well, I'm not throwing you through the grinders, but you have to have it done by November. That has been established at this point.
Yeah, so concrete pad by November, agreed.
I'm not gonna hold my breath about the DEP coming down and
They come see me once a month, Howard.
And at this point, it will become part of the minutes and part of the decision as far as the license goes. So if it isn't done by November, then there will be a notice of violation, and both boards will have to take up another public hearing again to discuss the violation. So, and that is after he has 30 days to appeal, so it will be 30 days after that violation.
Be longer than that because we don't have an appeal board.
But we'll have an appeals board.
All right, next.
we already talked about the plot plan. How many gallons of hazardous fluids do you currently have stored on site?
About 7,200,
7,200?
yes. We burn about 6,000 gallons of waste oil a year.
Are the hazardous fluids stored in separate containers labeled marked according
Yes,
to
they are.
hazmat?
Everything is double-walled and DEP certified.
And the labeling, has it all been updated? Because I do know when we did the site walk, they said some of them weren't clearly labeled, is what I will say.
Everything's clearly labeled right now. We had a company come in to get some of the, what we call junk gas, and they wanted it in a plastic tote. And then they decided after it was in a plastic tote, they didn't want to take the plastic totes. They wanted it in a vac truck, so they come in and vacuum it out. But everything is labeled, tagged, and on-site, double-walled.
Okay, do you have a current site plan laying out the different areas of operations and storage areas, the tires, fluids, et cetera?
Yes, I do.
Have we got it on file?
That's the one thing you do not have yet. That's what we have to create, is the site plan.
All right, so I guess we do not have a site plan that meets your criteria.
We do have a stormwater runoff plan that was created by Stillwater, but it doesn't outline the whole property and everything where certain things
It
are.
outlines 90% of it, but it doesn't outline the second level, which
Most
All part
importantly,
of it, so.
I agree. We didn't know we needed it until yesterday or today. Or we didn't know the print that you had in the file was not adequate.
I know that you doing some excavating up there on the pond, I believe.
I'm sorry, I can't hear
I
you.
know you're doing some excavating up there on your retention pond, is that it?
I'm not doing any excavating at the retention pond.
I thought there was a drainage area or something that overflows and then goes down in the brook, is that right?
You got the two settling ponds.
Yeah,
From there, they go into the big pond. The big pond has a boom in it, and then from there, it goes from the big pond out to the brook. And that water is tested triannually.
okay, is any work going on in that area now?
No, hasn't been since the pond's been put in.
Okay.
We have an inspector come out every month, and he inspects everything.
Okay, do the current and updated site plans, including distance from waterways, residential areas, including private wells and highways, do you have a plan?
The only neighbor I have is either the Pellegrinos or the Fergusons, and I'm certainly not going over their house and measure how far I am from their well. Junkyard's been there since 1968. So the house after us we own, the wells that we have is on our own property. Across the street from me, there's nobody. There's, then comes the Fergusons, but I don't know how far we are from their well.
What about the place that's across from the brook up there?
I own that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
is it owned by you or owned by a different corporation?
It's owned by Sean Gerard. And if it's a problem, we can turn it over to CIA if that makes you happy.
But as it is now, we don't have site plans with measurements or anything.
I'm sorry?
As it is now, we don't have any updated site plans with measurements or anything on them to these other areas.
I can't measure the neighbor's well, Howard.
Okay, I'm just asking,
It's not possible. Stan might be able to
Is-
go over there and get a survey.
is that part of the original order or the approval
Yeah,
for this?
I have to be 300 feet from anybody's well. And
Okay.
for the last, and then if they put a well in after 1968, they can put it right on the lot line, and I'm not responsible for their well.
Are these standardized questions, like,
yes, these
Okay.
questions.
because we just
were
asked
put-
3 questions about a site plan that we know we don't have, so I don't want to just be
Right.
hammering.
And these are developed as an annual reporting, and a sworn statement is supposed to be provided by CIA Salvage stating that they are in compliance with everything. But 1973 is when all of these came out. So anything prior to 1973, certain setbacks were relaxed. Like the highway or the public way, it went from 1,000 feet to 100 feet. So he has some grandfathering there. And if the well is put in after the junkyard was established, then there is no liability to the salvage yard.
When we put in the transfer station, we went through all that. We had to have measurements so many feet from the neighbors, and all of that stuff, and that should have been all done then.
So, and apparently you do have some of that stuff somewhere, because if that was
Yeah.
required in your permitting, so somewhere you have a site plan that was done, and it just hasn't been updated.
Maybe you can ask Charlie where his well is, and then we can check it.
The well, I believe, is, I went up there a couple of years ago, and I believe it's about 400, it's between 350 and 400 feet, but,
Okay,
Okay.
and he is uphill, which is even a better plot, so contaminants run down.
you sure?
Well, last I knew.
Mine have lots of legs. I've been accused of everything, so.
What's that? Okay, do you have current and past records, basically control logs, certifying compliance with removal and disposal requirements of all hazardous waste and vehicles from pickup until removal from the property? And are they easily accessible to be reviewed?
Yes, it is, yeah. Everything that goes out of that site has a little pink piece of paper. It says hazardous waste or non-hazardous waste, and you get the little piece of paper. I may have one. And that tells you who it goes to. They have to be licensed with Maine DEP, all of that. I don't have one. I mean, we have monthly logs that we do every month to make sure, you know, you checked all your tanks, you checked your outlets. This is all stuff that we do. And here's a form here that, it's called the chain of custody. When we take, we have any of our, you'll see, could be anywhere from 1 to 3 names on the bottom of that. We have it so we know who took the water sample, who took the water sample and put it in which vehicle they put it in, and then from there, where it went from there. There's another one here. So the water sample is taken on what day, at what time. It's recorded who did it and who received it and who shipped it. That's for the water samples. The Stan can get the other stuff for, you know, the gas or the oil if we get rid of it. That all goes to a licensed DEP recycler. It doesn't get dumped into the ground or any of that.
Okay, so we don't have to have a copy of that, or we do?
No, we just need to verify that it's been done.
Okay. Has it ever been verified? Have you ever verified it?
I haven't been over there to do it, but I can go over Diane offered to show me the books.
Stan has been at the facility, and there was some concern about dirty dirt, and, you know, I hide all my dirty dirt everywhere in the rest of the town, and I proved to Stan that I have documentation that shows if my dirt has been tested, where it's been tested, and where my dirt goes, if it's bad.
Okay, do you maintain a record of where the vehicles are brought in to be scrapped and when they are drains, scrapped and removed?
Yes, we do. Everything goes into Adidas. With the recycling license, you record what you're selling for parts. We write it down, we photocopy the titles. If I sell you a fender, I write down on here that I sold you that fender. If I sell you a rear end, it goes on there that we sold the rear end out of that vehicle. And everything, we go through the state database, which is called the Adidas.
Okay, do you have a current and updated stormwater control plan, and what's the date of the last revision of
I
that?
believe the last revision was in '24, is that correct, Stan? And Stillwater's working on it now.
I just received the 2024 version, and Stillwater is currently working on a new updated plan.
Okay,
So the 2022 one that we have is not the latest.
I forwarded it to you guys, so you should have a copy of it too.
Mine is dated last revised July 12th, 2022. That's
So
the
that was
last one I...
revision.
Maybe that's the last one, yeah.
That is the last revision.
Okay, do you have a current spill prevention and countermeasures plan?
We're working on the rest of that, to update that with storm, still water as well.
Do you know when that's going to be completed?
I'm sorry?
Do you know when that's going to be completed?
As soon as DEP approves it. It goes from our engineers to DEP. Once the DEP approves it, then it should be done. They have a few more things they wanted to put in it. We talked with the DEP today. I talked with a lady named Abby. I don't know her last name, Stan would know her.
I do have the draft copy that Stillwater has done. I can email it to you. I did print it off, but it is pending DEP approval. And what this plan shows is it shows any underground storage tanks and et cetera in the flow, the runoff flow. So,
We don't have any underground storage tanks.
Okay, do you document all training for staff or for hazardous material handling?
We're getting ready to have more training on that, and yes, we do.
Okay.
And everybody that's on site when they come for the training has to go to the training. They have to be there, all employees have to be there, and everybody does it. Nobody gets out of it.
Are you current on your quarterly water testing?
Yes,
And
I
what's
am.
the date of the last water test?
Dan can tell you that. We got another one next week.
Diane said they're ordering the bottles now to do the next one. The last one was the middle of April.
Okay. But we've got all the other tests up till then?
Well, and again, winter months become problematic because if it freezes or if we have a drought, you can't get the water samples. Now, DEP did change theirs a couple years ago from quarterly to 3 times a year, but we have not updated our conditional uses to say the same as DEP. So we still require 4 times unless it's a drought or it's frozen over and you can't do anything.
But the last time it was done was 3 months ago, so.
And I do send them to a geologist that is in town. He's also on the planning board, so DEP does review it. And so far, everything has been, from test to test, pretty consistent.
And those have been done for at least 15 years.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions I have. Anybody else?
No?
Do we have any other comments? Carol?
How long a presentation do we have today, an hour or 2? 3 or 4. 4? Thank you, appreciate it.
There are violations, and I'm not sure I understood why Stan said there are none, because I just talked to him today, and he said there's ongoing violations there. So I want to bring up what I know to be concerns or violations. There's history to it all. You folks know that there was a notice of violation for noise and Sunday operations. You have been getting with regularity pictures of the operation and concerns expressed, because Stan, I believe, has referred them to the planning board and the select board both. So it's not new news, and any of this stuff that I have is material that has been shared before and just not acknowledged by anyone. So I'm here to try to get it on the public record anyways. So my concerns are we're going to start with the tire pile. By a permit by rule, tires were increased as far as allowance for storage. Now, this is a state decision that he could store up to 100 by 100 feet and 10 feet high. I'm sorry. If I'm inaccurate, please tell me I'm inaccurate, but let me finish, please. So 100 feet by 100 feet and 10 feet tall. Now, that's the state rule. The town could always have a different one, but the town has never initiated any difference when he increased his allowed storage. So tire storage had historically been a big problem, and when the DEP came in and there was a consent to move the tire pile by CIA, this was a new location which was preferred because it's away from the sand gravel aquifer, which is a problem, and state rules are that certain things can't be there, especially junkyards, automobile graveyards. This is not my concern, except that it's supposed to have a 25-foot zone, all mineral, around all sides of it. You can see on one side, certainly it does have that.
Meryl,
We're actually
there's
looking
nothing
at
on
a
the
black
TV.
screen.
You got a black screen? Does it come back in when I,
It's been a black screen since it's been on.
oh, I thought it took H. Yeah.
It's on,
It is, it's on the computer.
yeah, you can see the computer. It's,
The icon's at the bottom, but no photos. You can't see the actual screen.
it's probably
Still
set up
nothing?
as a second screen, so you might be able to drag what you're showing to the right or the left, and it will show on this screen. From your screen, if you drag it to the right or the left, it might show up on our screen. It may be detecting the TV as a second type of screen. Yeah, your mouse was just over there, but nothing's coming.
So drag it right?
Oh, there we go. Well, it's little.
Did it get it?
Do you know how to turn off the second screen option?
Looked the other day when I did the public hearing for the planning board.
Okay, so we can see it. Can you see his mouse at all?
It's way up in the corner, there's a tiny little.
Okay. Did that do anything?
Guess I get a wish today.
So, I mean, I'd like to say, well, thank you for doing that. The fence issue that was discussed earlier, March 20th of 2023, page 9 of your minutes describes an 8-foot high fence. So 6 feet might be the state law, but both your town ordinance, I think it's the third condition in there for conformance standards. And the second part is that actual statement in the vote for the select board is 8 foot. And of course, that makes a decision about where the fence is measured from. I would assume it's from the flat ground inside up. It is a slope down after that, so it's not my job to say where that 8-foot start is. That was one part. Second is, even if I don't get this to come up, a sidewalk certainly makes sense if you can't picture everything that's being said to you, because there's a whole lot of material here. And if you accept this permit, you're accepting violations. Accepting a violation means that you're accepting that condition and the state's not responsible, according to what Stan has said in some recent meetings, both to the planning board as well as the communication when I was talking to him. So the DEP has basically said, yeah, we have rules, but we're not responsible for anything you're responsible for enforcement, and when you sign a permit, you're saying everything's okay. So if you start accepting it's okay, my concern is that you're going to be assuming liability. Or actually, you won't be, but the town will be assuming liability. And that's why, if you're not sure, take a site walk.
It's working, Courtney.
Did it work?
Yep,
Yep.
you got it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
That's what we have Google for, people.
Is it enlarging as I, so this is the tire pile. The tire pile that is permitted by DEP. My concern again, there is not a 25-foot mineral zone around the entire pile. And that's a requirement of the state statute. Second is, I don't understand the tire situation, but if you can look at this area, this is in his prep area, I think it was just called tonight, and I've heard processing area. But those are apparently better tires, but they're still hazards. And that's permitted, maybe, maybe not. I don't know how much is allowed to be stored. And then the last is something that is probably going to show up better in this picture. And that's this area. This area is where the tires originally were. This is an area that I believe Stan has called it the shearing area because he doesn't crush cars there anymore, he shears them. So I don't know what ends up here, but if you look closely, there's an incredible amount of round items. And I can only go by what this picture shows, but I believe round items are tires. And the quantity of tires in that area has not changed, as I can show you, over the past year. It's been relatively stable, in spite of the fact that you have another area that's growing. So really, how much risk is there? Because, is he, with all these taken into consideration, over what that pile of tires is allowed to be by state? Now, you're welcome to put a lower limit on it if that's what you thought was safer for the town, but that's a big concern for me, is how much, in regards to tires, there are on the property. And I'm going to show you this area here where the arrow is in the middle of. That is a sand gravel aquifer, and that's the number of vehicles currently going through and being stored before being processed. You're not supposed to be having an automobile graveyard on an aquifer. Am I correct, Stan?
It's approved.
I'm going to just say this because it's important that the scope of the operation has increased over time. But am I correct that you're not supposed to be storing in the aquifer area?
It's called temporary storage, and he is allowed temporarily. They cannot be there more than 180 days
So
without having the fluids drained.
Okay.
Or the
So
hazards.
my concern is the increase of vehicles, and I'll show you in a few moments. We can go back over time, but that number is going up again. And it does vary with time, but it's significant. Mr. Burnham, you mentioned something about a concern about fill, and I think you're talking about that area, which
I was just talking about the pond, but that was,
it was down near the pond.
We added some riprap.
Stan tells me this is newly added material.
Well, riprap, that's not newly added, it's not even in the detention pond. We added this load of stone, and then once still water gets done, we're gonna spread it into here, so there's no silt going into that area.
So if you want to talk about riprap and protecting it, it was in 2022, and I can pull the citation to read it if you'd like, when the state came in and said you need to put riprap to reinforce this area for the ponds. And now we're looking at 4 years later, and they did come. I can bring a paperwork and show you. I'll be glad to give it to you. So they also were here in January, And the problem is, I can't get a copy of that report. And Stan tells me he can't. They've given us preliminary information about that. But they had concerns then about fluids. There was maybe Mr. Gerard didn't hear you. He said he has no underground storage. Well, that's not true. There's 2,500 gallons of diesel.
Where? In an underground storage tank?
There's a tank for diesel, 2,500 gallons.
Show me where it is.
It's on the Stillwater plan.
There's not, it must be labeled wrong, because I have no underground storage.
Well, Merrill is showing Sean the description Stillwater did. What he's referring to in January or the 1st of February is there was a few divisions of DEP that did a spot visit for Sean. They did find at the time a large oil quantity storage area, which is above the allowable limit. So Sean had to dispose of the excess fluids. It's just not oil, it's all hazardous liquids. So there were other items that they found which we haven't been able to get a list of yet.
ASTF
Yeah.
is 1,000-gallon waste gasoline.
Well, they got it labeled wrong, because it's a manhole to water separate.
No, that's the water separator right there.
There's a 1,000-gallon tank over there of above ground diesel.
I'm just telling you what's on this site Stillwater plan. It's not mine.
Call Stillwater.
It's not my plan.
Because there is no buried tanks on that property.
But
None. Everything is double walled and above grade.
Stan has a copy of this, so you folks can review.
Hold your picture up,
They-
Dr. Aaron. Hold it up so you can see.
I don't have that particular thing.
You can't see where the tank is?
Oh, I can,
We'll get the picture up where you're ready to build it. Okay? Right here. If anybody wants to come see it, there's a red tank. That's an above ground tank right there. That's above ground. Okay, that's the diesel. The other tank is the tank here for gasoline. And then if you actually look in here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 above ground tanks in that building. There's also one more here on the side, right here, that we use for fueling the equipment. But there's no buried tanks anywhere in the yard. There is right here, if you see this, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a catch basin that allows the water to go to the catch basin. From the catch basin, it discharges right here, and that's supposed to collect any of the oil if there's any sheen on the pad.
Where does it go from there, though?
I'm sorry?
Where does it go from there once it comes out on?
The sheen, any of the oil, it's like the grease trap.
Yeah.
Water comes in, and then once the water fills up, it filters out. There's grease trap here. I call it a grease trap, but it's like a stormwater tank.
Okay.
And it's any of the stuff, if there's any contamination, it would stay inside of that tank. And the good water would flow out of here, and go down through the yard.
so as you can see, that pad is quite broken up. So having an oil water separator probably is functionless. The gravel that is, well, all the cracks would be preventing anything from making it there. So my concerns, and I hope the town will care about this, is that when this pad is replaced, and there were promises for many years, because the 2022 notation by the DEP is that he expected to have it done then, as well as what you've heard. Other comments have been said that was expected to already have been completed. But I think the soil needs to be tested under that area.
Merrill, that isn't the pad that's going to be replaced. Where the sharing and the shredding is, that's the pad that's supposed to be put in. Go.
Okay, then I would, if that's,
Whereabouts, Stan?
so I'll back it up. I know where Stan's talking about.
This is it right here. Where he was saying there was excessive tires, that's where he shreds the vehicles. He used to crush them. He doesn't use the crusher anymore. So he has scissors on one of his backhoes, and it literally cuts them up, and that's where it's done. And that's the pad that got damaged and needs to be replaced.
That whole area is a concrete pad?
Well, no,
99% of it,
Yeah.
yes, but it's got some cracks in it they want to replace. What we do is we bring the car in, we prep all the fluids out of it, we then turn around and send it down there. If we can't get the tires off, which I'm sure everybody's tried that, you get a tire, you can't get the tire off, it goes down there and they shear it. You shear the tires, so you get tires, so as the tires get going and they are done, you can take them off the rims because they can't ship the cars and the tires. We then send them up to the tire pile. Once we get up to the tire pile and we say, okay, we got enough tires, then we ship them out. Right now, in Dr. Farron's 100 by 100 by 10, that's only 5 loads of tires. You can't limit it to what you have and then turn around and say, oh, well, I gotta send out a load of tires that cost me $3,000 and I'm gonna spend $3,000 and I only have half a trailer full. Doesn't make any sense.
But when you know you get a trailer load, you don't ship it out then? You
It
wait?
depends. Well, my priority is making sure that I'm not in violation of how many I have right now, but my priority is making sure I can get everything cleaned up and get that pad in by November. But as you know, I have 2 facilities in town, and I get pulled every which way to make sure that this one can do this, and I go spend whatever money I can on that one, and turn around and do this one. But thank God we got Dr. Farron's great photography, because I don't have to pay for that part.
So it sounds like it's all crisis to be done now. But remember, this pad was to be replaced before 22. I've seen citations back to 2020. And so it's not a new item and not a crisis. This is the CDD pile. So there is a cement block wall, I think it's here.
Yeah?
And so everything's to be contained behind that wall and on the pad. And apparently it's fairly good here, although that blue tarp, according to Stan when I asked today, because apparently he talked to Mr. Gerard, that is CDD.
No,
He covered it up.
I did not. Stan, did I tell you that was,
No, Diane did.
is this, under this tile is construction debris?
Yeah, that's what she said it was, which is fine because you don't want stormwater running into
It's not
roll-off.
CD, it was clean wood.
All right, so, but you don't want stormwater running off, going on top of it into the roll-off, which isn't water tight, because it will seep into the ground. So covering it is the right thing to do, and he didn't do it that way.
It was clean wood, and now I have it up by the building, because it came in on Saturday, and then, so I covered it up so it wouldn't get ruined, and I put it up by the building. It wasn't construction debris, it was wood.
Up by this other building? It's not on the plan? What building are you talking about, Sean?
I'm
He's
not
got a
talking about
storage
any-
building up
They're
on the
talking
hill.
about what's under this little blue top that Mr. Fannin's.
Right, but where'd you put it?
There's
You
a,
can't see, I put it up in the front yard.
Okay.
You can drive down the yard right now, pull in the yard, look to the left of what we call the body shop, and sit right there on the ground.
So by
But just because I put a top here, doesn't mean I'm hiding anything. I'm just saying, hi to my neighbor, next week I'm gonna have a picture of a big old something else there, a couple of round balls.
no,
I'm just going by what Stan was told. But other material that is CDD is still spread out into this area in here, and I'll show you pictures where historically it's been outside that area until the last month it's been improved. I'm not going to say it's not. Also, that 100-foot wall, is that 100 foot from the road? Is that what that road? So you must remember there's a state statute. It says that for any junkyard, automobile graveyard, you cannot have any material, equipment in that first 100 feet. Well, look at all this material that's in that 100 feet here. That extends all the way to that side of the picture that's here. I asked Stan about it. He said, yep, that is supposed to be clear, but that's the end of it all. It's just, it's enforcement or it's compliance. There are missing water tests last year. I'm glad there's none this year, but that was part of the rule. And that January report that I mentioned, I wish I could have, I don't like to speak without having black and white material. And I really encourage you to get what, we have some limited conclusions from that, but they did not have vehicle log access the day they came in to do that inspection. We can't find it, or something of that sort was, I think, what I remember being quoted in there. That's just interesting that there's this access. Stan, I think, has asked before, and it's not gotten it, although he perhaps hasn't pursued it.
Ask us for what?
Vehicle logs, the ones that talk about where it went, when it was drained,
Yeah,
when the
that's
mercury
what-
switches and the lead was removed, that type of stuff. And I did forget to mention the used car area. So the permit that was issued by the planning board talks about the area in the front of the building that allows more of that operation to be seen. So, apologize. The permit allows 2 rows of sellable vehicles. This is one of the best pictures that I have, which is the recent one, which best means the least amount of extra material and vehicles in there. However, the reason for that, again, is that would have been taken on Sunday when the blue tarp was there, so that must be, there's more in that area now.
There's more over there.
Yeah, I'm just saying, that's not the wood that was under the blue tarp, because I only take images on Sunday.
Some of it.
Some of it, but that's not what was under the top. The wood that we
So that used car area is out of compliance. It's supposed to be, again, a junkyard, an automobile graveyard is not supposed to be visible from ordinary view. Obviously, it has to have an entrance. I'm not trying to say anything different. But the used car area is allowed because he has a used car sales permit. But it's only supposed to be used sellable cars, 2 rows. That's it. Interestingly, there is a state statute that says that any sellable car or any car you have for sale is supposed to have a declaration page in it, disclosure statement. That's statute 1475. No vehicles have those disclosure statements. So that means that they can't be sold right now, and that would therefore make all of those vehicles non-sellable vehicles.
Can I go over something when you get the picture up? So around 2 rows of cars, like 100 cars here through here. This here is a roll-off can, it's allowed there, a trash can. That truck is currently broke down and that motor was broke down. We're waiting for the parts to come in. Parts for this should be here tomorrow. We do our mechanics work right here in this front yard. So you may see, this is an employee's car, this is an employee's car, that's the that cash tractor.
On a Sunday, there's employees' cars?
Those 2 are, yeah.
Okay.
Those 2 are employees' cars, that truck is broke down and that motor was broke down. We sell 50 to 75 used cars a year.
So this is March, same area. March of this year. That's why there's some snow there.
You back that picture, sir?
Yep.
All right, there's a 4-car carrier, it's a registered car, that motor is the one that's broke down. There's car 1, 2D, 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 that's a car carrier. 1 car, 1 car, 1 car. There's a trash truck, a dump truck, car carrier.
Yeah, well, that just,
This, in
Sean,
this,
just out of curiosity, that used car area, is that supposed to, is the other stuff supposed to be in there?
You don't have a choice. You have to, you're here working, you work right here. This is where the mechanics work out these days, these 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where you bring in your mail. So if an employee pulls up here, or a customer pulls up here, that one there is on the line, that one there is on the line. These just got towed in, probably, they came from an auction. If somebody didn't pick them up, we picked them up. I don't know what that is. That's a customer, it must be a customer's trailer, because we don't have any trailers. That's a caravan, that's a front end loader. But I mean, we work in this area right here, in between the huge tire area.
So again, this is in November of '25, this picture. Certainly more than 2 rows of vehicles, and I'm not saying that there's not a need to have operations going on, but then behind those 2 rows of vehicles, I would think there would be some sort of concealment. Again, you're supposed to conceal
How are you gonna
operations.
conceal it then?
I'm going to just leave that to the people who are smarter than I am. And yet another picture. I think this one is from June of '25.
Sean,
So you can see the CDD pile. There's June's CDD pile. That's the end of the pad. I'm sorry, I should have pointed out on all the others how often it's over. Also, I didn't point out the open gates in several of those that I'd be glad to go back to them, but I don't really need to bore you with a lot of stuff. I'm just saying there's a lot of issues, a lot of stuff that need the Ts crossed and the Is dotted, and do I expect that there's not going to be a permit issued? I don't know. I've been around long enough and seen what happens with boards and how they work, and all I care about is you do the right thing, but I do encourage specificity when you set conditions. Timelines, if there's a necessity for that. I do think Sunday, because there's some poor neighbors that have sent in multiple complaints about noise, that you should establish exactly what can happen on a Sunday. It's supposed to be a closed operation. I understand, and if I had to go in and do books in my operation, I wouldn't want inability to access it, but that doesn't make noise. There's obviously something else that does that. I asked you to test the soil under the pads. I even wonder if you should test one of the deep water wells and to know how things are, because we're checking surface water. That's what the DEP had them do because of the lack of having constructed those ponds for a very long period of time. And the town can certainly set its own limit on tires. And do you really think that 100 by 100 by 10, and they're all over the place, how do you judge that? Is there really just a limit on the total number of tires that existed, and that's what that means? I assume that's what it means. But how would Stan enforce something like that when you can't figure out what's happening in that, I'm going to call it shearing area, because that's what Stan calls it. So please just be cognizant of all that. Thank you.
Sean, I got one question for you. Sean, I've got a question for you. Those cars that are down on the north side of the property, that's,
What do you mean the north side of the property?
well, down by your retention ponds there,
Yeah,
and you got a line of them,
yeah.
are all the liquids and stuff taken out of those before they're put down
No,
there?
you're allowed to store a car down. You're allowed to store cars out in that area for 180 days. They gotta move.
Okay, I just want to know if...
Some
when you
of it, no, we don't use that for storage. The stuff that comes in, we pile it in the yard, get it away from the neighbor and away from this front gate and in the yard. Once we do that, then we process them, we bring them up on the hill. The cars will stay up there for whatever the time frame is once they've been processed. And usually in the winter, we clean out most of the cars. I'd like to address a couple of things. The tires that he was showing up against the building are all used tires. We have customers come in every day and buy a $20 tire. We keep some inside, some out. The junk tire pile is 5 trailerfuls if you get to the 100 by 110 feet max. The prep area, we clean all the time. The reason we're here today is because my license used to get signed off, but we've had some noise complaints. Okay, Limerick does not have a noise ordinance. And I can tell you, I'm deaf. But I got a witness here that one day I came down because I was working on one of my houses in the orchard. I needed 4 2x4s, 4 12-foot PT 2x4s. I picked up the 4 2x4s and I put them in the back of my rack body. She didn't even know that I put them in the back of the truck. And I got a complaint because the neighbor doesn't hear us, they see us. And until the Limerick adopts a noise ordinance, you can't enforce noise. I have 5 different businesses on that property. I have a right to come to my property and come and go. My hours of operation have been, for the last 10 years, since 2014, Stan, 6 to 6, Monday through Saturday, and Sunday, I'm closed to the public. If you come down and want something on Sunday, go away, come see me next week. But it doesn't mean I can't drive in on my property. It doesn't mean I can't be there to work. It doesn't mean I can't go there and clean up. Okay? I don't even go there unless I have to. I get complaints. My driver come down and he picked up the truck. That's interstate commerce. The truck driver comes in, one of the complaints stand was about 2:30 or 3 o'clock that they heard somebody drive out of the dooryard in the truck. The trash truck runs 7 days a week, anywhere from 7 at night to 6 in the morning. And he comes back in the morning. Sunday morning, he goes to a watch and picks up 7 hotels. That truck runs 7 days a week. It's interstate commerce. They say they want me to close the gate when I'm there on Sunday and I'm not, and so that the neighbor can look over and say, hey, his gate's closed. There's been times that Stan gets a complaint, it's a noise complaint. Well, thought I heard something. You know what the tractor trailers sound like when they go down over that hill on Route 5? My trucks aren't like that. My trucks don't, I tell them all, don't use your Jake brakes. I don't care if I have to put an extra set of brakes on the truck in a year. We don't use the Jake brakes. We could. I could rattle the windows in the neighbor's house. I don't do that. I don't get in a pissing contest with them, but I'm getting tired of getting plenty of complaints. Is anybody here from my neighborhood that lives next door to me? Any of the Fergusons or Pellegrinos here today? Because it's a Ferguson, is it not? No, it's a Pellegrino. It's Charlie's daughter, I believe. Who do you get your emails from, Stan?
I get the emails from the abutters.
From the abutters. If the abutters got something to say, why they knew there was going to be a meeting here. It's posted. For all you at home, if you want to come on down, come on down. I'll sit here and we can debate noise and all of that. Sunday services, Stan looked it up. I am allowed to be there. I'm allowed to run my equipment. I'm allowed to run the dump truck in and out of there on Sunday. Stan's got it in writing, and I don't do that. You know, years ago, I was a prick, and I tried to do everything I could to piss my neighbor off. I don't do that anymore. I'm getting a little older. I don't have time for that crap. But we can go back to that. If I get noise complaints, well, let me say this, and I'll put it on the air. We had a noise complaint. Stan wrote me up for it. I got my dump truck. I had a noise complaint on Sunday that I was there, the day I put 4 2x4s in the back of a truck. The next day, I got my dump truck. I started it up at 3:45 in the morning. Would you believe that goddamn air horn stayed on for 28 minutes? Stan wrote me up and wrote me a violation of noise ordinance. He said it was 30. It was only 28 minutes that air horn stayed on. But goddamn it, that whole neighborhood was awake. You know, it's ridiculous to think we go through this. It's ridiculous to think I have to put up with that friggin' Dr. Farron. He may have been a good doctor, but the rest of it is bullshit. You want to go through my tires, go through my tires. You want to go through the yard, you go through the yard. We process the cars, we prep the tires. The tires get taken off, the rims, whatever's salvageable. If you get a car, you can't get the rims off, then you turn around and you break them down with the shear. We save the aluminum, the steel goes in the steel pile and gets recycled for metal. And then once we get everything cleaned up, every day they take tires out of that pile. But you may bring in 6 cars that you can't get the tires off. So those 6 cars go down there, they get prepped. And then after, so you got 6 times 4, you got to take 24, 30 tires out of that. Could be tires in the back. You process the tires, you throw them in a bin, and bring them up.
Sean, how big's that area you just talked about where you're cutting the cars up and stuff
Yeah.
like that? How big an area is that?
The pad, I think on the print is like 120 by 140. It's pretty big. Yeah. And whatever we have, if there's any contamination there, when we take out the pad, we have to remove it this year. You know, so there isn't, the used tires we take care of, the junk tires we take care of, prep area is taken care of, noise, Sundays. I mean, you guys have a right to be on your property. I have a right to be on mine. I'm not there to piss off the neighbor, but I get complaints. Stan emails me on Sunday. It shouldn't be his job to email me on a Sunday and say, Mr. Gerard, you're sitting in the yard. I said, yes, I am, Stan, because my driver just picked up the truck so he can go to work Monday morning. You can drive a dump truck or any other truck. And I mean, we even take the trash truck, I don't know if you can see it in his pictures, the trash truck pulls in and then he backs up along the wall. He doesn't even do that because the alarm on that is unbelievably loud. He pulls in, he leaves it to Monday morning. So, I don't know what else we can do. I mean, other than not having a couple pieces of paper, the site plan, we can work on that. But the rest of it is ridiculous. You got to run a business. I employ roughly 26 guys. We have anywhere from 5 to 7 businesses in and out of there. We have thousands of customers that come to see us. And we do everything we can to maintain everything, make sure everything is right. We get rid of our foods on the proper places. We do everything. There isn't anything we don't do that's required of us.
Is there a certain time frame that you, if the liquid's taken off the property?
No, what do you mean, as far as trucks?
No, I mean, as far as, you said you had like 7 or 8 tanks inside that building out back of your main
Well, the
building?
DEP and I are working
How
on that. They
often?
want a timeline
I was gonna say, how often does those get emptied?
when they're full.
Okay.
And then we have to hire a licensed contractor to come and vac it out.
Okay.
I mean, 6,000 to 8,000 of it is waste oil that we use to, we have 3 furnaces that we run. We run 1 at Range E Road, we run 2 at CIA. And we supply the oil for that. That whole building, except for the office, is supplied by waste oil. So it's in our best interest to use as much waste oil as we can. It's in our best interest to recycle as much gas as we can and antifreeze as we can. And that's what we do.
I have a question. I've called everybody because I dealt with this for the last 4 years. I've called the governor, I've called the senator, I've called the attorney general's office. I want to know who regulates this board. From the state. I called the governor's office, I got no reply. I called the senator's office, I got no reply. I called the attorney general's office. I got no reply. Someone has to regulate you guys.
They don't.
They don't. When he comes home and he has a heart attack, okay, I'm coming after all he is, and I'm going to say that. Oh, no, I'm done. Okay, he employs many employees in this town, okay? He has a lot of employees. They buy lunch in Limerick, they buy coffee, they buy gas. They do things in the town of Limerick. You guys want to work on shutting them down? Work on what this will cause your businesses, okay? But I would like an answer on who regulates this board.
There's nobody to regulate.
Well, someone has to regulate you.
No, they
No, that's not fair.
We're elected by the townspeople.
Then who monitors you?
Nobody. That's why they don't have a town manager.
The select board is elected by the people of this town.
Well, what happens if, I understand what you're saying and I'm listening, okay? But everybody has to answer to somebody.
They answer
Okay.
to the people, and the people have
They answer to the
elected
people in town,
Yeah.
okay? But when they don't do their job, who do you answer to?
The people,
That's
the
BS.
people, that is exactly it. And as far as the regulations for a,
We'll try again.
there are 3 things. There's a junkyard, there's an automobile graveyard, and there's a recycling facility.
It's been,
Those are all governed under statute, which the local government has to maintain. So that is what we're trying to establish. We're not trying to harass Sean,
No.
but we are trying to make sure that the
Okay.
statutes are being followed.
so I understand what you're saying and I'm listening. And everybody in town's been listening, but nobody shows up. No one regulates his business, Berman's business.
They
No one
certainly-
regulates, he's the only one regulated by the state. And he's the only one you guys are giving a hard time. No, I'm done. I will
he
find
isn't-
out who regulates you people.
He isn't
Because I'm tired of
regulated,
listening to it.
he is
It doesn't
not-
matter. It doesn't matter.
again, you're
It doesn't,
misunderstanding.
I understand what you're saying and I'm listening and I don't want to listen anymore.
Okay, he's
Okay?
regulated by the local government, the municipality,
And here's
under the
another
state
thing.
statute.
Here's another point, okay? This man is hammered and impaired, and you guys do not help him out. Do you know that's a state law that you need to help him? Hear you people? When he comes home, I have to repeat the meetings, we have to watch it. So,
All right,
do
well,
you think
again-
that's fair?
It's not fair. I am legally deaf,
And they're
okay?
not helping you?
And I don't have the problem. If I can't hear,
No,
I
they're
say,
not.
excuse me, what did
You're
you
not
say?
listening to it.
All right? So again, It
And
is
then
state
don't call
statute.
him at 10 o'clock at night.
I don't
Or
call
no,
him
You do
at-
too. I can logs on
No,
his
no.
phone, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Wait till normal business hours.
I have never called him at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, okay. That's not okay.
No, in fact, you know what? I am sound asleep at 10 o'clock at night, so
Okay.
if I get a call, there's gonna be hell to pay.
Okay.
All right? And the only calls I get are from the state police,
Okay?
and you don't want me answering a call on that one. So, right, the
Okay.
biggest problem with Sean is he doesn't do his housekeeping. He has not, for 20 years, been held
And he's not the
accountable.
only business in town that
Excuse
doesn't
me.
do housekeeping.
Excuse me, I have the floor, all right? Sean isn't being picked on no more than any other business in this town, all right? And if Heath Edgley can say that I am one of the most fairest code enforcement officers there is, then I'll tell you, that goes a long ways, all right?
So like you
So,
said, if you can't,
excuse me.
no, not.
Excuse me, let me finish, okay? Sean and I have a good rapport, and I've learned that if we talk, we can get through it, all right? Sean's problem is his housekeeping. And again, for the 20 years or 30 years he's been in business, he has not been held accountable or told what he needs to do. So this is what we're trying to do, is say, this is a statute, these are the guidelines we need to follow, and then we won't have this crap every day, all day. As far as the noise, there are 2 statutes. One is under 29A, which is criminal, all right? That was your violation, all right? The other one is right in 3753 under Title 30A. And we don't enforce that, Sean, because under the statute with that one, it says you cannot have any noise that goes beyond the boundaries of the property, all right? So there has to be some reason, all right? So with the complaints I got, we worked with you. I told you I will call you or text you and see
And
what's
I
going
agree
on
with
on
that.
Sundays.
And I
So
can
we're not
honestly-
doing this anymore, all
I
right?
can honestly say, you know, I don't always like Stan, and I don't always like every one of you, but we're all here. You guys got a job to do, I understand that, and Stan and I do have a good piss and moan between us. I don't always like what he says, I don't always agree with what he says, but the problem is every time I come down here, I get railroaded for a bunch of crap. I basically got called in because I had a couple of complaints with my neighbor. And it's wrong. If my neighbors want to be here, come here. Come every Monday night, we come here, or Tuesday night and have a complaint department. But if I'm allowed to run a dump truck in and out of my property on Sunday, and I get a complaint, that's wrong. It's harassment. No different than what Farron does is harassment. He got sued once and he had to change his tactics. You know, we're not a business that everybody likes, but we're a good business, and we employ good people, we pay good money.
As far as the noise issue, if you've got, I don't know of any business that if you've got people working for you,
I don't have anybody in there, Howard, on Sunday working,
no, but let me finish.
okay?
If you've got trucks on the road, especially trailers like you've got,
Yeah,
I mean, they like to get out early, get out on the road early.
yeah.
Now, if you're just going and starting that truck up and leaving,
We don't do that on Sunday. I don't load any trucks on Sunday. I simply go there for a few personal things, and that's it. I had my old Cat 966 could rattle the windows in this building. I don't run that anymore. I run newer Volvos, emission Volvos, and they're quiet. Well, when I got a complaint, because I think the neighbor has the cameras, what I actually believe. So on Sunday, they turn the camera on, they can see me. So I should smile all the time. So if you guys coming by, wave and be nice. Is that every Sunday when I get the complaint, I'm either pulled up to the gate, I went in the yard, I get a call from Farron, and the neighbor say, oh, well, his gate's not closed. Well, I go in for 5 minutes, it's a pain in the ass, or I got a truck coming behind me, the trash truck's coming in. You can't just, so when am I supposed to stand there at the gate on Sunday morning, wait for the trash truck to get there? I open the gate so that he can come in. He's gonna be there between 7 and 9, depending on what the hotels do. But trash runs 7 days a week, the trucks run 7 days a week. Trucks leave in the morning, we get down, most of our runs were all done between 5 and 6 o'clock. That's the latest we're ever coming back in the yard. But you can't close the gate and then put a 53 or a 65-foot truck out in the road and expect somebody to do it. We've had many accidents, many close calls. We had somebody run into the rear of a trailer one year and just bumped off and kept right on running. So the gate part is hard. You've got to have the visibility to do what we want to do. And it's worked for the last 30 years. We haven't had any complaints. Stan can come down. If he wants a couple extra blocks on the wall, I'll put a couple extra blocks on the wall. If he wants a site plan done, then we can figure out how long it's going to take. But you got to understand, everybody in that industry is right out straight. It's not, you're not going to get a surveyor in there. And even at that, that's going to cost 10, 15 grand. This is simply a recycler's license for us to be able to maintain what we're doing now, stay in business, and then Stan can come down and beat me to death, tell me, Sean, your housekeeping's not clean. I could have that yard immaculate, and Stan would come along and he'd find a Q-tip on the floor, and I could, you know, somebody can complain about housekeeping. We have two people that's all they do is housekeeping. They walk between the cars, they walk in the yard. They're there 40 hours a week, every week. And that's all their job is cleaning, making sure that pad up there where we prep the cars is clean, making sure there's no oil spills up there, making sure that's clean, making sure that everything's taken care of, all the fluids, and they walk the yard. The whole yard they do. As far as tires, we haven't increased what we had before. We've had the same amount of tires. The only thing the DEP come in and says, we don't want them down towards the aquifer recharge area. We want them 300 feet away. One of the options was to put them across from Pellegrino's driveway. You think you'd like to look at a set of tires up there, Howard? I kind of doubt it, no. Okay, so that's why the tires are where they are now. We maintain an area around them. Sometimes guys go up there and they take the little tractor, a skid steer, which can't push the tires up on the pile, they just set them there. Then once a week, the guy goes up there and piles them up if he has to. But we're not over the limit on the tires. Putting the limit on the tires would crunch us. We've always had that many tires. They were just closer down on the bottom of the building, down by the prep pad. And DEP wanted them 300 feet away.
Getting back to that cutting area that you've got.
Yeah.
How often is that cleaned up so that you can see the concrete?
Well, 2 weeks ago we had it so you could see half the concrete that we want to replace. Then the machine breaks down. Right now I have a shear broke down. We just spent $350,000 on. Parts coming from Sweden and won't be here for 7 to 14 days. So any tires that are on those rims, I can't take them off for 7 to 14 days because I don't have a machine to do it. We had 2 months when our machine was broke down. Then we ended up buying another shear to do the job. That's why but the tires that are there are not hurting anything. They're not, you can say they're hazardous waste, but everybody has a tire in the garage or wherever. It's no different. Those tires go there. We don't throw them there because that's where we want to hide them. We take the cars, we process the tires that are on them. Once they're done, the tires are cut in half with shear. So the tire is no good after that. Then we turn around from there, we put it in a bin, and from the bin gets taken up on the hill and put in the pile. Well, as soon as we get slow, we take it, we load up a load of tires, and we haul them off.
Okay. That it? Anybody else on the board have a question? You have a question about?
Not regarding this issue, no.
Why not?
No, we're still in the hearing, Roger, so. Based on what we've heard and the pictures we've seen, does the board feel we should have a site walk?
I think we need to have eyes on to see what actually is completed, what isn't completed. I mean, the thing that concerns me is concrete pad was supposed to be replaced within 2 years. And that was in 2023, we're in 2026.
I'd like to let the board, if I could, we're not here for conditional use permit, we're here for recycler's license. Recycling, I mean, I gotta go down and spend another 9 months on the other end of this building for conditional use coming up in November. So
Yeah.
you guys, I mean, not
Yeah.
trying to rein it in, we're here simply for recycling license.
And which encompasses just what I just asked, to look and verify what you got there. That's all, Sean.
According to
this
Stan's
is-
paperwork, the
This
only
is
thing.
not to prolong the process, it's to
No, I understand that.
verify.
The only thing we need to meet the guidelines of what's here today is a boundary map. Is that what's correct, Stan?
From the notes that I've taken, it was a current plot plan or site plan that shows the operation area and storage area of the tires and fluids. Current site plan to show distance from waterways, residential areas, private wells, and highways. And concrete pad by November is what I had written down for what's not completed.
And the big thing, correct, Sean, is the site plan, because that gives everybody where everything is. And also, when you go for
The
renewal,
print that we gave you today, that we ended up digging up, it shows it shows everything on that map except for a little bit of the boundaries. And that can be done by the GIS map, which is this town has. It shows, approximate lot lines without having to spend $10,000 or $15,000 bringing a survey to say, here's your rock here, Sean, here's your rock here. The GIS map will show 99% of that. You have that map, Stan, that we gave you today?
the one, I got the one from Stillwater, yes, and we've got the original one from 2021,
Yeah?
when you were taken with DEP, that Stillwater did. So, but it doesn't show the upper levels, and right now it doesn't have the stormwater, the retention ponds or anything like that.
Yeah,
So-
that map that I had today has the retention ponds on it, all of that. It just doesn't show the tire pile.
And I can work with Diane to get one that would be satisfactory for both, right? To explain so that you understand, and hopefully we won't, and just like the planning board, we got to a point where you shouldn't be going through this and being grind through the grinder, right? But the board, before they give you a license or a permit, they have to verify that you're in compliance, because when they issue that, they're saying you're 100% in compliance. If you aren't and something happens, the liability lands on the town, okay? So it isn't just you, it is the town. So, but again, like I said, you have not had any of this since you've been here, and now you're being forced to comply with things that nobody even talked to you about, right?
Correct.
But this is the statute.
Yeah. So the only thing I'm lacking today in the statute is the site plan, correct?
There's the site plan, and again, violations would be considered anything that you promised to do or that's in a conditional use. We've already discussed those water over the bridge. Your pad's gonna be done in November, and you're gonna do the site plan,
So
so,
I'm in, right now on the recycler's license, I'm lacking a site plan.
exactly, yes.
Okay. And I have no current violations as of today.
No, not that I'm aware of, and again, I have not been on the property, and when I go there, you've got to understand Sean has an operating business, so it can change from 1 hour to the next. So when I go there, I'm not looking for every little tiny thing. I'm looking for things that really need to be done, and I do. I go, Sean, your housekeeper, all right? And he'll say, what do you mean? I said, oh, there's a piece of plastic on the ground. So, yes, I am there more than I would like to be, but again, it's not to pick on him. It's because we're trying to be consistent and we're trying to help him reach a point where he is not going through this every other year. And this should resolve it. And then the next conditional use you're coming up with in November, then we should be able to walk through this one. That's the goal.
Been here 30 years, 35 years, Stan, it hasn't walked through. I just went through one that was supposed to be so simple. My lawyer was so pissed off, he got up and walked out.
But again, now you have a foundation and a good conditional use. It should be, and I won't say a cakewalk, but it should be a very simple process. Unless there's been changes, you should be able to get through the review process very easily.
When we went into that meeting, Stan, the words between us said that it should be a simple 1, 2, 3, 4. It was not, and it never will be. I appreciate the work you do, Stan. I know I don't always like you, but I'm not, you know, always happy with your decisions, but that's where we are.
But it will. And again, I know you haven't seen it, but it will be.
No, because you have two boards that want to regulate something. This piece of paper should be in with the conditional use permit and done then. I shouldn't have to come back and fight with two different boards every year. I have to get this recycler's license fixed every year. And Stan should be able to sign it off. If there's no violations, then it should be signed off. If Stan says I got my paperwork, rubber stamp that sucker and be done. That's the way it's been for the last 30 years. Now I gotta come in here and fight with two boards to give everything that we want to give and make sure that Stan knows everything he wants to give. It's wrong.
But again, that could happen, but we gotta get to the point where we don't have something that's incomplete or there's a violation, all right?
I agree. Thank you.
That's where we're headed from. So at this point, I think we can close the public hearing and you can decide what we would like to do. But this is up to you.
Any other questions? Okay. We will close the public hearing and deliberate what we want to do. Okay. Any comments?
I mean, it sounds, from what I heard tonight, we have everything completed except the site plan that shows the stuff that I just read off. So I would be inclined to offer or issue a temporary 90-day permit until we get that site plan, and then once we get that site plan, it just rolls into a regular permit. I agree. One of the things since I've moved to town is we hammer on, I believe that we hammer on CIA salvage, whether it's Secocas Trail or 41 Range Road. Since I moved to town in 2022, that's the only real planning board meeting that has taken 15 meetings to get something accomplished. And I have always said, and I think it's ridiculous, so I don't, it's a business in town that employs a lot of people, brings in tax revenue. I think we can issue a 90-day permit that will give them time to come into compliance with the site plan. If they're not in compliance after that 90 days, then the permit gets taken away, and we do it again to make sure they're in compliance. But I would be inclined to allow a business in this town to continue running.
I agree with Brady on that.
So, I mean, I guess I can make that into a motion.
Make that a motion, I'll second it.
I'll make a motion that the select board issue a 90-day license to allow CIA salvage to come into compliance. In order to come into compliance, the site plan would be needed to list the operation areas, storage areas, tires and fluids, and distance from waterways, residential areas, private wells and highways. And as Stan said, he can work with Diane to help accommodate and get that completed within those 90 days.
I'll second that motion.
Just make one comment. If I were you, I'd get that pad in before November, because you're not going to be pouring any concrete in November with the weather we've been
That
having.
would be enough.
Okay.
If you could get it in within the 90 days, that'd be all the better, but
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to give a temporary permit with conditions, as what Brady just said, with the plot plan and the site plan and dimensions and everything that was mentioned there. Have that verified. If it doesn't, if it's not done in 90 days, then you don't have a permit.
Do we want to, I know this has been brought up in the past, 90 business days, 90 calendar days? Because that has been brought up in the past too. I would assume business.
If we follow the state way, it is 90 business days.
So I will add that to my motion. It's 90 business days, not 90 calendar.
And once he provides the site plan and it's presented to the board and it's acceptable, can the board, without having him have to come back in, can the board just approve the permanent recycling license?
Close to it. Better off to have calendar.
I would, yeah, I
think
would
it's
assume
better off
so.
to have calendar days myself, but
I think that would be, you know, once we have all of that, everything's in compliance, I think that should happen.
And if-
calendar days or?
Oh,
Yeah.
he was asking about something else.
Yeah, and that's up to you guys. The state goes by business days, but that decision is really up to you, if you want it 90 calendar days or 90 business days.
Well,
I mean, really-
if we're thinking of a plot plan that has to be completed by a business, I don't think it's fair that we give 90 calendar days and
We
that
are, yeah, because it's dependent on
business is only
somebody
working on business
else's.
days.
It's dependent on surveyors and everybody, so. So I could absolutely agree with this, the business days, 90 business days.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to give a conditional permit with conditions, that those conditions have to be met within 90 business days, or the permit is not issued, or is revoked. Okay? Okay? I know. All those in favor? All opposed? Okay, vote. Yep. Okay. Next item. Motion. I don't believe it.
Hold on. Make sure there's nothing else on here. Tax acquired
tax, yeah,
properties.
hey, Stan.
Hey, Stan. Wanted to make sure there's nothing else on here on the agenda that involves you, but we got tax acquired properties on here.
It depends what Mr. Levely wants to discuss tonight. That may involve me.
No, tax acquired property.
Oh, tax acquired.
No, you should stay.
I can give you an update on tax acquired.
Okay, motion to accept the warrant for this week.
So moved. Oh, no, we haven't seen it.
I've looked at it. Has everybody looked at the warrant?
I have looked at the warrants, I have looked at the payroll warrants. I would move to accept the payable warrants for this week and last week.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Has anybody looked at the general ledger? Our general ledger shows that we have $1.04 million in our bank account. I asked for a report of outstanding checks today. I didn't get that report. I logged into the bank account. The bank account says we have 1.8 million, but that's also, I don't know how much we have for outstanding checks. So I'll be voting no on warrants because we're getting close. And then we also I got another document right before the meeting, but I was a little confused on if we also have an update on the tax anticipation note. Because
That is coming, did we get anything from the lawyer on that?
No, I did not get anything
That's been
further.
sent-
That was supposed to be going to Julie, I believe.
it looks like we
yeah.
got this from, I was just confused on why, this one was sent in our email.
Oh, she attached that to show that last year last year the town did the tax anticipation note, same time of year as this year, which, looking at amounts in the accounts, should have been done sooner. But that's why that was attached, was just to show that same time frame.
Okay.
When we applied for the TAN, Julie signed for it and I signed for it to apply for it. But now the bank said, okay, they sent the paperwork back and it went to the lawyer. And supposedly it's supposed to have been back today, this afternoon.
Yeah, they were going to try to have it back to us this
So we'd
afternoon.
have to, all of us would have to sign that before it goes forward. So, and that's all I can tell you. I don't know what this status is. If you didn't get an email,
I don't know how we want to handle payroll. I don't know if we can just approve payroll. We do have employees of this town that work that deserve to be paid.
Absolutely.
So I believe, I mean, I would be in favor of making a motion to approve the payroll warrant and not the payables. But until we get a rein in on the numbers, an $800,000 difference, this is my personal opinion, until I know what's outstanding for checks, I can't approve any more money to be paid. We could have a $300,000 school budget.
Well, up
hold
until,
me to it, but I believe Julie was talking about that this afternoon. It's like $12,000 checks.
Outstanding checks?
Outstanding checks. I did verify with the bank that what she has got down in the checking account is in fact what's in the bank.
On this report?
There's 1.8,
This report says 1.04.
no,
This report says $1,049,731. This report is dated today at 12:45.
no,
It is. It's,
well, no, she gave me the register,
oh,
and it matches to the bank, because I went down and actually had got the balance from them just before they closed today. Okay, so this first if we haven't, not everyone's seen the warrant, then we've got to wait till everybody's seen it, and we have to vote on it next week.
but then we put off paying everybody
That's
for
right.
another,
No, we can vote on the payroll, just.
No,
I haven't seen it.
I'm talking the actual warrant, other than, not the payroll.
Oh, you mean the payables.
Yeah, payables.
there is a motion for that. There hasn't been a second for the payables.
For not pay the payables, or?
No, there was a motion before I made my motion, so I'll rescind my motion. There was a motion made to pay the payables for this week and last week. There wasn't a second. That's when I brought up the balance on this general ledger, but apparently the bank account has 800,000 more, which is also concerning.
I've looked at all the bills for this week, and I haven't seen any problems, so.
So are you going to second that motion?
For this week's warrant? I'll second it based on what I just said, that I've reviewed them. Do I hear a second?
oh, I already made the motion. Yours was the
Okay,
second.
Second. Okay, all those in favor? Approval? Opposed? Okay, motion to approve the payroll warrant.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? I do have an issue with one line on that payroll. Actually, there's two lines on the payroll that I would prefer to see held until we get an explanation.
So there's a couple different options we can, I mean, we've done it in the past where we vote on it at the following week's meeting. We don't have to vote on it this week. We can hold it. I mean, before paying, we should hold it, and I'm not going to vote on holding something that I haven't reviewed, and the warrants didn't come in here until right before the meeting start. So I couldn't get back to where they were. So I won't be able to vote on that, but I just want to make sure the employees of the town get paid. That is my concern.
with the issues that are going on with it, how do we want to handle it if we approve the warrants with it having some concerns?
You can make a note on the warrant that you're not approving a certain line. You can adjust the warrant and say,
So just
line
ready to
12,
say.
line 15 are not approved.
Which is what we did last week.
You can cross them right off and say
Yeah.
not approved, and vote to approve the warrant as amended. What two lines are, elaborate on what two lines they are.
I'm not going to mention the person, but because it's freedom of information and all that, I don't want to get involved in that.
I mean, the payroll isn't privileged information. Fine.
So I would vote to,
Well, can we discuss what the
Amend.
issue is? We don't have to say names. Did somebody get overpaid, underpaid, take vacation pay that wasn't supposed to?
holiday pay that was not
Holiday
supposed to be
pay,
issued.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean,
Plus the salary was different than what's supposed to be.
The warrant can be FOA tomorrow. So I don't know the big secret.
last week's warrant was FOA'd with the changes, so we can say the names just so we're all on the same page. I want to make sure I'm voting on the right thing. I mean, yeah. Is it already
My
marked?
issue is that a salaried employee was issued a separate check for holiday pay on top of salary.
Yes.
And I think that needs to be not approved. So amend the warrant. I would vote to amend the warrant to not approve that
line.
Not approve
that line.
those two lines for the same person.
Well, the salary ends up,
But it's still not right.
but that is something that we would have to discuss in executive session.
Right.
But as far as the holiday pay goes, salaried positions do not receive separate holiday pay. That is their part of their weekly pay. So I would make a motion to amend the warrant to not approve the holiday pay on that. And then accept the warrant as amended.
But that still leaves the question of the wrong.
Right, but that has to be dealt with in executive session. That can't be dealt with in a public session.
Okay, I'll go along with that.
So just do both, well, then just do both and then we'll have to do it for later so that everybody else can get paid. If there's an issue with both of them.
Well, there's a potential issue, but there's a potential not issue with that.
But it's still personnel.
Is there any way to figure out this issue tomorrow? We can sign the warrant tomorrow afternoon? I mean, we still need to vote on it, but we can modify it now. I don't know if we don't want to say the name, we can pass a note with the name of the person in the warrant. I mean, I don't know what, it's public information. But I guess want to get past the second thing on the agenda.
Just
So
if
I've made-
got
I've-
that- Have we got the payroll warrant right here?
You do.
That's the last one. Those are the two I'm questioning.
Yeah, I could have guessed that, but I'll second your motion.
See my question.
I already know.
Okay, so,
Motion's been seconded. Any discussion further? All those in favor? All those against? Oh, I didn't see Wade's hand. So I was like,
okay. That's it.
Howard was blocking Wade.
Okay, let's go on here. Motion to accept the June 16th minutes.
So, second.
All in favor? All
I'll abstain.
opposed?
I'll abstain. I'm abstaining.
Okay, next announcements.
The Select Board will meet with the CDC on June 30th at 6 PM to go over test results. The Select Board will meet on Tuesday, June 30th at 7 PM. The Planning Board will meet on Wednesday, July 1st at 7 PM. The Budget Committee is looking for 2 new members to join. Please contact the Select Board admin at limerickme.org if interested. And the Select Board is looking for 4 individuals to join the Appeals Board. Please contact the Select Board admin at limerickme.org if interested. Part of the hearing of citizens policy, no personal attacks on any individual firm, including town employees, town officials, or members of the public will be tolerated during any meetings. Please direct concerns about individual employees or town officials to the chairman of the Board of Select Persons outside the public meeting for your convenience. Complaint forms are readily available at the sign-in table.
Okay, next, we don't have any department reports tonight. Next, hearing of citizens. John?
I got a couple quick questions. Certainly, there seems to be some concern about the town funds. Can you confirm that there are no rescue billing funds in the general checking account?
No, I can't.
Can you get an answer for next week? To see if all the rescue billing funds have been
No, wait,
transferred?
Wait, just give me a second. I think I can.
I know the last time I looked at that account, the last deposit into it was April of 25.
April 25. So
The
there's,
last major deposit of 200 and something thousand.
so there could be a whole year's worth of rescue billing funds
Very correct.
in the general account that belong in the rescue billing account that's inflating money you think you have to spend.
The rescue billing account is included,
That is
Right, but he-
included in what?
the total cash.
In the 1.8 million?
No. We've got total cash, and this is 4 accounts.
There's about $800,000 in the rescue billing account.
My question is-
$844,568.18 in it.
My question is all the money that's supposed to be in there? I know there's 844,000, but Brady says there hasn't been a deposit in that account.
The last time I looked.
In a year and 3 months.
I can look right now.
So that
So we
could, that's,
can, we can
that's,
check with you.
that's hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're spending that the town doesn't allow you to spend. That money has to be in that rescue billing account. And it should be done every month, not every year and a half.
So you're going to check with partners on that?
Yep.
Second question I have is, they have a popular pickleball court. Why can't you just pay to get it striped? Just stripe the concrete and put up the nets.
Right now, we can't pay for anything. We don't know what funds we have.
What do you mean? You got a rec budget? You have a recreation
We
budget?
have a very limited rec budget. The money that's in there that's set aside in the capital account is for something very
Not the capital
specific.
account.
Right.
The regular rec budget has supply money, it's got repair money, The regular rec budget, I mean,
Have you reached out to our, reached out to our park and rec person?
I did. And she came here and asked the same question. She didn't get an answer.
Fair.
Because everybody's, I mean,
Fair.
I can understand being afraid to spend money because your checks are going to stop bouncing pretty soon. I mean, that's probably going to happen. But the money's in the budget. They have a rec budget. There's supplies, there's maintenance. You could spend under $1,000 and at least get that where people can at least use it. If you stripe it, you'll find out if the paint's going to stick. You've already paid for the nets and the posts and the fence. I mean, we're not looking, we don't need to spend another, we don't need a competition pickleball court. Everywhere you go, everywhere you drive, those courts are being used all over the place. Just stripe it. Got a price for $800 to stripe it. I'm sure we can find volunteers through the rec department to put the posts in. And then people can use it.
To answer your rescue billing account question directly from Partners Bank, the last transfer into that account was $7,850 on April 30th of 2025. There was one for $377,000 on April 16th of 2025, and the one prior to that was on September 6th, 2024, and that is all of the transfers into that account since April of 2024. So
there's a year's, there's 16, 18 months worth of rescue billing money that as far as I know, the entire history of that account has never been touched. That is sacred money. We've never used it to cover ourselves when we've been short. That's been untouched where it belongs. But you guys can figure out if you're spending that now or not. That's, I guess, something you probably ought to look into. And as far as the pickleball court goes, you have a rec budget. It doesn't have to come out of contingency. You have a rec budget. And I don't think, I mean, I think the rec director, I feel bad for her. She's concentrating all her time on raising bottles and cans, afraid to spend the money. Greg Milhon was a great guy. I'm sorry, he was afraid to spend the money. Had a great budget 2 years ago. Every time we talked about spending money, he wanted to save taxes, and God bless him for that. I appreciate it. But the money was there, and it was never spent. And because it wasn't spent, you whacked the rec budget in half last year. Because no money was spent the year before, because everybody's afraid to spend the little bit of money that goes in that rec budget that means pennies to every taxpayer, but could mean a bunch to kids and adults to do stuff. So I think you ought to stripe that court, put the posts up, and you can then gauge the use and see if the paint sticks. And go from there. You can think about it, you can deliberate on it, you can talk about it next week. It's just my opinion. I know there's money in the rec budget to do it. All right, last question I have is, would you be willing to spend, the business park account has $33,000 or $34,000 on paper in there. I don't know that we have the actual $33,000, but to double the size of the sign at the entrance of the business park.
Why?
Well, when that sign was put up, it was designed with a slot for every lot. So there's 11 slots. Well, the building we just put in has 4 tenants. They'll have signage on our property, but I just thought it'd be nice if the business park sign at the entrance, again, you're not talking a lot of money, probably $500-600 to double the size of it. We've put up a new building. My family's invested over $1 million down there. We're bringing in tenants. We're bringing in businesses. We got a great startup transmission shop that's down there operating. There's a small construction company down there operating. There's a dumpster manufacturer coming in. And these places are bringing in jobs. They're bringing in money. We're running one of our businesses out of there now, and we're talking to several people that want space. And we're looking to put another $500,000 building right next to that one. So a few $100 for a sign, I don't think is too much to ask.
Let's look into it.
All right?
Roger, next.
This won't be as exciting as it's been watching the people before me, so I was here last week introducing myself, and I explained my situation, and I said I would bring a packet for each of you that would explain what the situation is. It's been going on for about 3 or 4 years, so I didn't want to write a book, so I kind of made it easy, explaining the situation. My understanding is that some of you people hadn't been getting all the information, and I just want to leave anything open. So I want to make sure you all have an understanding how this happened, what I've gone through for the last 3 or 4 years, and where it's gotten to right now. So I'm presenting this to you. You guys look it over, read it, and what I would recommend is if you guys could come over and look at the situation, and seeing is believing. These are some photos I took of some of the damage that's occurring, but it's hard to be able to tell. Now, this situation hasn't been going on just for the last 4 years. I had mentioned to you that I went to see Alan Chamberlain last year, at the end of the year. I get some maple syrup from him. And I didn't realize, I don't know the intricacies or any of the people that have been on these committees over the years. I don't get involved with this. And while sitting there talking to him, talking about our ailments as we get older, he said, "How are you doing?" And I said, "Well, the only bump I got is I'm having in a pissing contest with the town about a culvert." And he broke right into he broke right in. "You mean they haven't fixed that damn culvert yet? That's been going on for years. They're supposed to have dug a trench past Spurwink and bring it to the drain down below and have it go into the culvert on the west side." I was stunned. Now, how long ago was that he was involved like you guys? So this has been going on for years. They've just been kicking it down the road because no one's been complaining, because that land, until I bought it, was just dead land. And they were using it as dumping grounds. And the culvert is in there, and that's what it's doing. And when I first complained about it, I saw Steve Richardson. And I was going into his last year as being road commissioner. He's taking care of his dad. And he looked at it and he realized something had to be done. So the year before he left, he said he was going to build a retention pond on my side of the road in hopes that it would contain the water and not overflow and go through my property. Well, he realized that next year, that seeing the erosion on my side, it wasn't going to work. But he told me, he said, "I'm not the road commissioner anymore. Now we got Scott Parity." So I had to start this process all over again, but he was good enough that I got him and Scott together, and he could explain what the situation was, what was going to be done, what should be done. And since then, this explains where that's gone from there. It's been a negative attitude on the representative of the town's part. So I am being persistent in pushing the issue ahead. And I'm giving you this information so that you can, any questions you have, you've got a contact how to get a hold of me. The first thing I did is when I was getting resistance and told that it was not the town's responsibility because they had inherited the road from the state, that due to the fact they had installed the culvert, that it wasn't the town's problem anymore. I didn't think that was quite right. So I called the DET, and I talked to Mr. Shepherd, who explained to me. He looked up the records, and he said, the minute that road was given to the town, anything that occurs that's negative or good, they're responsible for. They own it all. If there's a negative impact being created by that culvert, the town is responsible. That's right from the horse's mouth. And I was told initially that that wasn't the case. So that was a lie. And it continued from that point on. So I just want to straighten this out, and I'm not giving up on this. I'll push it to the end. So you read it, you look at it, I was told that the job would be done because of financial constraints. Bernie Carroll told me, we can't do anything this year because he was getting signatures at my house to have a moratorium on building houses because they didn't have the budget to do the roads around the new structures, he told me. They didn't have the money. So the work would be done next year. First thing you know, Parity's not in there anymore, and I got to go through this again with somebody else. And he was going to do it with Steve Richardson. He told Steve, I was there, if I get the job, do you want to do it for the town? And Steve said, yeah. That last year, I get a hold of Steve, said I can't do it because he's not in there anymore, and they're saying that he didn't put it in the budget to get the work done. So all of a sudden, I get a notification by Stan that due to the fact that I told him that I put that retention pond in, that now I'm responsible for the work. I didn't do it. Steve Richardson did it. I went right to Steve's house and showed him the letter, and he shook his head and said, what? He even put it down, he even described how the retention pond was built. I came home for vacation and Steve was finishing the job. I never built that retention pond. The town did it. And he says that I did it, and because I did it incorrectly, it's my fault. I didn't do it. So it's all written right here. It's concrete. You want to check with Steve Richardson? They should have known. The new road commissioner is his brother. Didn't he do the research and call Steve up like I told him and say, did you do it or did Leverly do it? No. He just whacks me immediately, and that's how he extricated himself from doing the work. I'm getting wound up just thinking about it. So you look at the information. I'm dotting every I, I'm writing down every phone call. I've been through this in federal courts. I know what to do, and I'm not going to give up. And if it comes to the end, like Shepard told me, he said, if the town doesn't concede and want to do the work, and if you can prove it's their responsibility, it's going to go to civil court. I said, okay. That's why I'm seeing you. I was getting ready to go there. But you guys, I understand, haven't been getting all the information the way you should. Now you got it. And here's the packets right here. I got them all made up. And if there's any questions, you want to come down and look at the property, come down and look at it. I'll take you for a tour, gladly. You got kids, bring the kids. I don't care. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Howard Burnham, that's you, I think.
Thanks.
Harmon?
Thank you.
Brady Connors?
That's me.
Gerald Gilpatrick? What's your name, buddy? Yeah. You must be a farmer, I smell it.
Well, that would be a long shot.
Thank you.
Okay, going on. Any other hearing of citizens? Having none, we'll go on to review of legal accounts, which, to my knowledge, we don't have any.
Nope.
Deep Vale update, anything on that, Gail?
I've submitted all of the invoices for the drawdown that we're expecting any day now to the treasurer, and they total $300,000. So I'm hoping somebody will tell me when that drawdown arrives.
238,000?
238, yeah.
238,904 was today.
So is that in the 1.8?
That is part of the 1.8. Yep.
Okay, so those will get paid this week? Is that correct? They'll get put on the warrant for next Tuesday?
I have not seen any bills on that, but
There, I gave them to her, and she gave them to Julie.
okay, tax acquired property, Stan?
So an update on the tax-acquired properties. You're aware that I sent you an email. I found 3 realtors, some with some recommendations to send it to them. I put 3 properties out that I want them to bid on. I'll bring them to the select board. They can decide what they want to do. And at that time, we can either decide to go with one, or we can give each one so many properties, and then the board will either approve what they're selling them for or not. But there is a little bit of process. We need to make sure that if they're tax acquired, as well as if they're town-owned, what the lost revenues were, to keep track of those, because that is part of the reporting that we do. So that was a little bit of the delay that I had. I wanted to make sure that I had everything before I chose which properties. The other issue is I still know there are several properties that are on undeveloped roads, which Lake Arrowhead calls them unbuildable lots. But again, if you can think the Lake Arrowhead committee that we used to have, they were very familiar with those and the updates, but we'll need to know the statuses of those, because we don't want to put on the market anything that we've agreed to. If we sell them, it's just going to push Lake Arrowhead into a bad situation where they may have to develop a road before they planned on it. So I don't want to do that to them. But that's what I have.
Is the Waycross property on that list of properties? No.
Down on the circle, the end of
Yes,
Wakefield.
that one, that's one of the first ones that was listed, map 46, lot 129, which is the one that's in the middle of the...
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
That was the #1 listing, and then I chose 2 other in a different map area, because, again, trying not to develop in one area too much, so I just move around a little bit. But,
Okay.
so, but,
Thank you.
yep.
Stan, with that advisory committee, they would be helpful because we haven't.
It's extremely helpful because they've got all the history of well, they were even part of when the process of the agreement with Lake Arrowhead when they did the settlement. But there's a couple members that are in Lake Arrowhead, and they know where the water lines are, they know what roads are, and I'm assuming that they're in constant communication with the board of Lake Arrowhead, which I don't, and I don't have the time to do that, but it's just helpful. They also had a plan where they wanted to combine certain lots, so those were the benefits of that. And when I first started doing this, I wasn't aware that they had certain combinations of combining lots and areas. But that is helpful because, again, you don't want to be like Waterboro where the houses are on top of each other. You want to try to maintain a little space between houses.
Do you have an up-to-date on the members of that committee?
I can
I know
get it
one
for you.
person passed away a year or so ago.
Yep. I know Joanne was on it. Lucian is on it. Dave, I don't remember his last name, but Dave is from... Yep. So, and Martha, right? So, but...
Make a motion that we accept, if they want to, the ones that were on the committee before to the Lake Arrowhead Advisory Committee.
You mean appoint them to the committee?
Appoint them to the committee, sorry about that.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Vote. How many in favor? Opposed? Let's vote.
Thank you.
All set.
And if there's anything else, by all means, email me, or you know where to find me, so.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, the snowplow contract for the town roads.
I went over these yesterday.
Those are all with the changes on,
There's all them changes, very good.
that we had during our
Workshop.
workshop.
I also attached the advertisement to go to the paper if you guys decide to put that out to bid. So that it was ready. So if you guys get that, if you guys decide to put that out to bid, I can get that sent to the paper tomorrow, and that'll be in for the next 2 weeks. And then you guys decided to have them come back on the 14th.
I think we need to get them out there. We're,
The time on the front cover is different from what we had changed it on the inside. Front cover says 4 PM there.
oh, where?
Inside says 3 PM.
Well,
No,
the
on the
inside one's
advertisement.
correct.
But I'm just saying on the front.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, on the advertisement.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
yep.
So that needs to be fixed to 3 o'clock.
yeah, I'll just change that to 3 if you guys decide to go forward.
Wait,
And then I'll send it out.
Good catch.
Okay. All right.
Everything was the same.
I know, I mean, it's not a big deal to me, but when I joined the board, is it the Board of Select Persons?
Yes.
Okay. There's just Limerick Board of Selectmen, Selectmen's office. We're not selectmen anymore.
Oh, yeah, the Maine State,
Select Persons, Select Board.
It's agenda thing with,
they
Oh,
they actually changed it by law.
Yeah, it's just something, I just want to make sure that it's accurate. I know in the past, we've always had it as Select Board and Select Persons, just gender equality, I guess. I don't.
yep. That's about it.
Yeah, because really I'm not a select man. Just throwing that out there.
Duly noted.
So I'm changing the time to 3 PM and then
Limerick
select
Select Board.
Person.
select board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
select
Okay,
board.
select board. Got it. I will make sure I make those changes.
Select Things Office.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept this contract and bid as written?
Send it out. So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the bid package to be sent out for the plowing of town roads for the ensuing year. All those in favor? Oops.
I think she has a valid question.
We'll do anything for the voting, but I would like to discuss after the vote. No, that's cool. I don't want to interrupt the vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor? All opposed? Passed.
Just that would be the contract.
I'll just say for the record, I oppose just because I haven't had a time to thoroughly review this yet. It needs to get out, so I'm glad it passed.
Well, we took that out. We took that section out.
Just a request
You made a list. Oh, thank you.
for our contractors,
Thank you.
whoever may get it. There's been requests, one or two. It should have been done before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's being addressed.
No, I got Courtney one too.
These are all for the turnarounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have they been out? Because I have a volunteer that will take whoever wants out to address every one of the spots that need to be attended to. And this has been going on for a few years, and the trucks are getting bigger and the roads are getting smaller, the turnarounds.
Where's Woodbridge?
What?
Where's Woodbridge?
I don't know, I gave Courtney my copy.
Woodbridge, private driveway?
Oh, it should be Ridge, sorry, Woodridge. Down off Route 5. Jim Fortney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, spelled it wrong, sorry. went to Massabesic. Yep.
Okay.
And I'm not sure whether it was Henry Francis or Francis Henry, but it's down off Carroll Lane. It's just a little small place that you gotta turn around in the driveway.
Okay.
But,
Okay. So this is definitely something to keep in mind that we're going to have to deal with.
yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with
Before.
signing or putting out or whatever, but it was, I felt it needed to be addressed.
Yep, thank you.
So if you want to be escorted around, let me know. I got somebody that will show you every road.
Okay. Thank you.
We've only had one so far. Well, last year, there was it wasn't a big issue, but the turnaround that's been used for years over on Dole's Ridge Road at the town line, the property was sold, and Bridges went to the owner, and they had an agreement to use the background there for that 1 year. Since we discussed in a workshop about approaching the people across the street, which is the Foss family, about putting a turnaround there. I've spoken to one of the sons about it, and I've still got to talk to the mother, and I meant to go over there today, but I just didn't get to it. But that's in the works. As far as the other ones, I've just got to read that.
We'll have to go through it and work
Yeah.
on it.
I don't know, I've never heard a problem other than that so far, so. Okay, vault fire suppression proposal.
You have the proposal in your packets. So I submitted an insurance claim. I'm working with an insurance company to try to get that covered, but this does need to get done because that is vital records in that vault.
Yep.
So
Did the insurance company say roughly when they're gonna?
they didn't. I talked to somebody briefly today, and I was resending documents to them just to make sure they had everything. But I'm just waiting to hear back now. But this does need to get voted on because it needs to get done either way, because it is vital records in there.
Okay.
I would make a motion that we move forward to get this completed.
I'd second that.
Now that is, I take it this is proprietary,
Yes.
okay? Okay, been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any questions?
Do we technically have to go out to bid for this? It's over 2,500.
But this is proprietary, though. I don't, personally, I don't think we do, but, I don't know.
I mean, we could put it out to bid and wait to get bids back and then try to get something scheduled, and
It was just, I don't know if we have to.
I don't think we do just because it's proprietary with it being the fire panel. The vault, yeah.
This is the same company to put it in. So,
Is this this isn't the monitoring company, though? I've answered numerous of the, Minuteman Security monitors it.
Right.
They also do installs. I've had them install at my properties, so I don't know if they would touch it because it's other equipment.
Yeah, so what happened was Minuteman came, took a look at
Okay.
it. They said that it was not them that could fix that,
Okay.
to call Interstate. I called Interstate, had them come take a look at it. That's when it was discovered that the box had been hit by lightning and completely fried. So act of nature.
It's a sheer fact, it's an insurance claim. I mean, we could go ahead and get it fixed and we'll get reimbursed.
Yeah. And that's what I think I was talking to Deb with MMA, said that even if we have to wait for it to be either approved or whatever with the insurance, we can pay for it and then possibly get reimbursed. But because it's an act of nature and there wasn't really anything faulty, so.
Just out of curiosity, I would call them, just ask if they have to come down and look at this before we go ahead so we don't violate the insurance, the policy any.
Yep, I will. Like I said, I've been in contact with MMA since I submitted that claim, so.
So do we want to just go ahead and get it fixed and then?
I think
Should
we
we?
need to, because if anything happens between now and then,
We've already had those records cleaned once.
Yes.
We don't need to have that happen again. That's too expensive.
With the importance of the situation, I feel we need to move forward.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Anything else? All those in favor? All opposed? Okay. Approve and sign policies.
these are all the policies that we went over.
Yep. Okay, we have,
The changes that you had discussed last night, so I just made the changes this morning, and they are all in your packets to be either approved, deny, or whatever.
okay, well, we are going to be voting on the harassment policy, the hearing of citizens policy, privacy policy, snow plowing on public ways policy, the fire department emergency services subscription ambulance policy, policy for table and chair usage of town-owned property, and authorizing tax anticipation borrowing, the purchase policy, and that's it. Do I hear a motion to accept those?
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion further? All those in favor? All opposed?
I'm abstaining, just because I wasn't here to make the changes yesterday.
Yep. Okay, next, welcome to Limerick sign. Jerry, you got anything on that yet?
Yes, it's a lot more difficult to find an artist to do a job like that than I thought. I spoke to Socko Frame Factory last week. I'm gonna reach back to her tomorrow or Thursday, and she is trying to find an artist. She's got the pictures, and she's working on getting us an artist to paint it.
Okay, next one, John.
Those signs, the last of those signs were made at RSD Graphics.
Okay,
Really?
RSD Graphics made them, he's got he has
Awesome.
the file, the print file. He made the last one.
That should be easy then.
yeah.
Now, do we still have to have the framework for it though, right?
Right, it's just a 1.25" angle iron frame, so. But Ricky,
Have to find somebody to do it.
at our last meeting, last Tuesday night, Ricky Richardson said that he would work with us to make the frame, because the current post structure, it appears that someone took a battery-operated offset and just cut the steel tabs that held the sign. There's 6 little tabs on the steel structure, about an inch long, that's all that's left. So Ricky Richardson had stated at the last board meeting that he would work with us to make a framework and get that restored.
Okay, next, law at the intersection of Washington and Maine. Wade, you've been working on that one.
Well, we haven't heard anything from the Boy Scouts, but they were up there cutting the lilacs back. Del Floyd had someone that was up there doing it and doing a really good job. Looks good, but as far as the Boy Scouts doing the rest of it, haven't heard a thing. But
I don't even know who's running the Boy Scouts now.
no.
Is this something that we need to keep on the agenda?
I'll check in, and if we can't work anything out, we gotta at least clean it up, but we'll have to go to another option.
Okay, going on to new business. Vote on a public hearing decision. Which one
We
is?
already did
We
that.
already did.
Discussion vote on article for moratorium. That's nothing more than extending it, if anything.
So I was able to find an old warrant article and just revamp it.
Yep.
So I don't know if we want to add more articles on there or keep it as is.
Would we want to think about not doing it on the 21st and think about doing it maybe a week or so later so we can add the snowplow contract to that special town meeting?
Yep, and maybe payroll and maybe,
Yeah, we have to, I mean, unfortunately, we have to have a special town meeting for the snowplow contract.
Yep.
And I'd hate to have one on July 21st and then one on July 30th and then one in October. So if we could wait a week or so, because if we're getting bids back on July 14th, we open them that night. We either pick one that night or we take a week to review them and then pick one the following week. So the following week would be July 21st. So we would even, in August. The moratorium is already expired on that. So it's unless it's something we want to get on, to get it, make sure nobody can come in and do it, if that's the sense of urgency for that. But I would just hate to have to pay SRCTV to come out twice, the fire department twice. I'm wondering if we should just postpone to add the plowing onto that as well. But
well, we are going to have to, that's next up on the agenda. We're going to have to do the same thing for the payroll companies.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to do that sooner rather than later because we have to hire a new payroll company. That's not a question at this point.
That's coming up very shortly.
So do we want to move it to the 28th?
if we move it to the 28th, we have to have a decision made on the 4th. So we get them back on the 14th, we make a decision on the 14th, so we have the time to advertise for the 28th. So if we're okay with committing to getting the bids and deciding that same night, then the 28th is fine. But we wouldn't be able to take it home and review for a week just because we wouldn't have time to advertise.
Right.
Because we have to put I think the wording has to include, shall the town enter a new contract with so-and-so for so-and-so.
Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents.
We're going to be accepting those, but we would probably want to have a week to look those over before we go any farther. Just in case there's something that got put in there, or request that we don't know about,
Yeah, but I don't know that we can wait until August
but we don't,
to have the special town meeting for payroll because.
time's against us.
I mean, we can certainly do 2 special town meetings. It's just,
Yeah,
just be simpler if we just get done.
I
with
agree.
it.
Yep.
Can we do this? We have other items that has to go on special town meeting. If we could get those together this coming week, so we know what's going on next week, and then put it out, schedule it.
And then do another one like August 4th? Because that'll give us the week to look over everything as far as plowing and, but if we can do the other one sooner,
For payroll, we need to.
We should know here within a week what's going on with the payroll.
yep.
Yeah. With the plowing, with the turnarounds and.
Yeah, let's try and get all that other information for the payroll and anything else we've got coming up, so we can do it, try and get it in once and get it in, and have it ready for next week. You see a problem with that, Courtney?
But Howard, that's not going to give us any time to look at the plowing contracts.
No, I said next week to
Oh.
have
Oh,
the-
for the payroll one, okay.
Well, and anything else we've got to put in, so we
Right.
can have one meeting.
Right.
One vote.
Right, but then we're going to have a second one for plowing,
Exactly.
for the plowing contract, so we have time to look over the bids and make that decision.
Yeah, 'cause that's a... What's the date on that coming back, 14th?
Decide on the bids, get all the warrant articles together, be able to advertise for 2 weeks, and then have the special town meeting on the 4th. Because at this point, you guys don't have anything going on in August as of now. It could change.
Right, but our concern is with losing the payroll company and having to bring a new one on and getting them on board, we have to have, that has to go out to vote.
Why does that have to go to vote to the townspeople to bring on the bill?
Because we are going to have to get funding approved for the cost of setup and integration.
It's not
So you need to vote for the money, not for the,
Correct. Correct, for the funding for it.
Plus, we have other stuff we have to have additional funding for this year.
But payroll is the critical one.
If we held off... We've got to have 14 days before the town meeting, right?
Yeah.
So if we're accepting the bids, opening the bids on the 14th, and give us to the 21st to analyze everything, make sure we're right in what we're doing here, then that's going to be taking us from then on right into first or second week of August. We're going to be going out for commitment here very shortly after that. Wish we'd go out earlier, normal. So we go. We have a town meeting. What do you everybody think about the 11th of August?
To move it all to the 11th of August?
Yeah, so we get one meeting, covers everything.
I'm fine with that.
Really,
It's pushing it.
That pushes it way out, and we're going to lose MRI before then.
But if we're gonna have it just for the payroll and her extra money, we're still talking lead time to have that special town meeting.
Yeah. I just don't want to put it off too long because
I don't either.
we're going to end up without a payroll company and nobody to do, well.
But
no processing available.
We could bring payroll back in-house.
I was going to make that
Absolutely.
joke, then I thought it wasn't appropriate.
absolutely not.
Can we wait and see if we have a price next week?
Yeah, I mean, we have price on one.
So, I mean, I know MRI is willing to wait, probably not till August, so.
The sooner the better, as far as they're concerned, at this point.
We have made them, they're happy enough and calm enough right now that they're willing to continue on past the 30th, provided things continue like they did this week. But that doesn't mean they're gonna.
What part of your budget pays the payroll company? Is it separate?
We have the monthly fee. We have the monthly fee accounted for, which is that one under administrative? I thought one was under the administrative.
But the trouble is a setup cost and everything else for another company. That's a little bit on the pricey side.
How much?
We haven't got to, we've got one proposal so far.
Where does your administrative budget sit for total for the year? There's no spare funds there, I mean, you can overdraw lines to cover this.
But without knowing exactly where accounts are at, not knowing, and like you say, we may have a lot of the rescue funds that are in the regular account.
Yeah, but you're talking actual dollars versus budgeted dollars are two different things.
Right. I don't want to be spending actual dollars because budgeted dollars say that they're there if they're not. Actual dollars coming out.
Having a meeting to approve that spending doesn't give you the money. Doesn't bring in the dollars.
I think we'll be in the same spot we were on the March 31st meeting, where if we don't trust these numbers, are we gonna,
I would rather.
I don't trust these numbers, so I'm not going to ensure and tell the voters that these numbers are accurate. I haven't. I said I haven't been spending that money. I don't approve warrants.
It's been certified.
It's been certified.
Dee Dee certified that warrant
Yes.
for March 31st? I've asked and asked and asked for it. She said, when I get to it.
Yeah, it's been,
Been certified.
That's been certified.
off the top of my head, I can't give you a date, but I can try to find out.
Was it less than 2 weeks ago?
No.
Then she lied. Because I asked for it so we can post it. I'll ask her again in the morning.
Okay.
Okay, so how are we gonna leave this? We're gonna wait, gather all the information we know about for next week?
Let's do it for August 4th.
Yes,
I just don't want to kick it out another extra week.
the extra information and everything.
If we're going to do it all together, let's do it on the 4th.
Good. Everybody in agreement on that? Special town meeting,
Yep.
August 4th.
Yep,
That'll no doubt be at the firehouse.
yes.
Okay, going on, we got payroll companies we are waiting on. Tomorrow, we should have the meeting set up, or presentation set up. do we have a workshop? And
We did meet with Bangor Payroll, and it was a very productive, and we'll put together a presentation for payroll, where they would be handling all of payroll, and it would come with timekeeping for all of the town.
and as we mentioned last week, we are looking to go in all digital for all payroll.
So,
And Bangor has that, so it's,
Have we, when we say digital, I wasn't available for the meetings. Are we talking employees' phones or digital time stations?
both,
Okay.
both are available.
Have we accounted for the transfer station that doesn't have an
Yes.
internet line?
Yes.
Okay. Will
We
we
have,
avail- will-
because they could have a tablet that has data access.
I was hoping we could start taking credit cards down there. Okay. If we get internet down there, right? Phone line or internet, we can take credit cards.
That's
Move
true.
this town to the 21st century.
That's true.
Crazy idea.
That's true. I think that would be a good idea for down the road, for sure.
that's a vote for another night.
I guess so.
That'll be brought up in the new budget.
Or maybe they can start using the tablet to accept credit cards.
Okay, we
Just saying. All right.
get a vote on to authorize the TAN note. Do I hear a motion to,
Have you reviewed that
we've all-
Has everybody reviewed that document?
oh, I mean,
The TAN note?
no.
Okay, I wouldn't motion to accept it until we review it,
I'm,
personally. I just got it prior to the meeting, so.
well, as it is, all of us have got to sign it anyway. So,
That's just my opinion. The board can vote if they want,
let
but
me ask you this, can we do it to, we can authorize it subject to signatures of all the board? How does everybody feel about that?
this is the one you gave me.
I'm just thinking about timing, that's all.
The one that I was given
We're gonna be-
is requesting Dee Dee's signature.
Correct.
Okay, never mind. Majority of the select board, okay.
Correct.
And then there's an amount on
There's
that.
a separate document before we actually transfer the money over, I believe, that the whole board will have to sign.
Right.
And that's to actually utilize the funds.
So, how are we leaving this?
Where did we get the numbers for this authorizing the tax anticipation borrowing? Last year, we took 1.7 million, this one says 3 million.
That's the
Well,
revised,
Yeah, so this one that we signed last year says 1.7 million, and this one,
that's for the future.
That one's
This
just
one is-
policy.
This one is 2.5 this year.
Yep, this one, this year's is 2.5.
And that was the policy change.
We were just, with that policy, Brady, we were just looking ahead,
okay.
because no doubt we're probably looking at higher expenses next year. Hopefully not, but, okay, so we wait until we get the paperwork then on the TAN.
Yep.
Okay, going
Be fully
on.
informed.
Don't put, I mean, the board can vote how they want. I don't want them to vote their base off me. I won't vote on it without seeing the full paperwork. I don't feel
Oh,
comfortable.
what I meant was, we read the
Yeah.
get the paperwork and then sign it. At some point, we have to vote.
Yeah, but if we read it and don't agree with it, we've already voted to read it and sign it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think we're going to have to wait.
We need to review it before we sign it.
John has a question? John?
Have you seen the cash flow report from the treasurer? So you,
I haven't.
no one's seen a catch, so you,
Nope.
that has to be, you need that. They won't even issue the can without that. So how do you know how much you need and when you're gonna run out of money?
John, we haven't seen the paperwork yet on anything. So, it's up to 2.5 million.
How did that number get determined?
From my understanding, Julie was working with Cameron over at the bank,
Yeah.
who does all that.
Last year it was
Last year, I remember,
1.7.
yeah, I remember last year I was in North Carolina and I was on the phone with Cameron for like 2.5 hours. And I think he's the branch manager, or he's a loan manager. Yeah. And there's a lot of information that he needed in order to get a number calculated. So I'd be interested to see the reports that were given to him to get the number that we got.
I mean, he came back,
That should come.
he came back apparently and said 2.8 is what we should be asking for.
That's very concerning.
Yeah.
If we're gonna borrow 2.8 million to get us through until September 1st, when taxes start rolling in, we need to
Yep.
change something, and we need to change something fast, or else this town is, I don't even know, I don't want to say it, but it's not good.
If you're spending $800,000 a month,
Yeah, but
you need 3 months, you need to get July, August, and September. That's $2.4 million if you're out of money 1st of July, which I think you're out of money already because you're spending money. I think we're already out of money, but there's magic money in the account.
the checks keep clearing.
If you run out of money in July, you need July, August, and September. That's 3 months, roughly $800,000 a month is 2.4 million. So I don't think you're far off with the number. It would just be nice to see it, in a cash flow report, so you can determine when you're actually gonna run out of money.
That's the sooner we get the commitment set.
Commitment's got nothing to do with the cash
Well,
flow.
Gets the cash flowing, John.
I know, with every tax anticipation note, there's always started with a cash flow report, so you know when you're gonna run out of money. And then you determine from that point to when money's gonna start coming in, how much you need. It's the first document that's always been done before you even ask the bank or the attorneys or anyone. Because if you don't have a cash flow report, you've got no idea when you're gonna run out of money.
I do know the bank asked for certain information. Okay, that's all I know at this point.
Maybe
Yes.
somebody's given it to them. Nobody's seen it.
Okay,
I don't know what that was for, but
Next up.
appointments and resignations. Anything?
Nope.
I don't have anything. Any correspondence?
Nope.
Any,
that has been taken off.
That got revised last week. Unapproved.
Okay, I can continue next week, no problem. It's only $25,000, but it's okay. We spend enough money, it doesn't matter.
okay, do I
The
hear,
checks keep clearing, we're good.
do I have a motion to adjourn?
Hang
So
on.
moved.
Hang on.
Second.
Damn it.
Hang
So
on.
close.
Sorry.
been moved and
25,000, just, can you summarize it really quick so that we can get it on the agenda for next year?
Oil in the summer, almost $2,100, just heating oil for the fire department. This is just one warrant I haven't seen, I haven't
Yeah.
had a chance. And who is Striker? Lucas?
That was, that's for the chest compression device, the Lucas CPR device that was approved last,
Okay, 22 grand right there.
yeah, it was approved to spend up to 30.
Okay, I
Yep.
just was, like I said, I haven't seen many of the warrants, but those two kind of jumped you want to save money, all you gotta do is just close some of the town buildings that are just sucking us dry, that we don't use. Would be some project to get into to see if that would be feasible.
I'd love to get rid of some of
Courtney?
them.
Courtney, can you put on the agenda to create a committee that Cheryl's going to chair on how to save the town money?
Oh, you don't want to do that. You don't know how I budget. You guys are gonna cut and pay next year.
Oh, no, no, just,
Actually, I give you a raise.
just for you guys to, give ideas.
Everybody else would do.
Just concerns regarding some of the invoices, heating invoices, that kind of
I
thing.
mean, some of the light bills, I mean, there's just, wow. And when of the bids, the snow plowing is going to be available for public viewing? Tomorrow? Yep. Oh, okay. For the roads only. Oh, I understand that, yes. Yeah.
So
One
I
to one.
will have,
Yep.
everybody can hear me. 2 minutes, again. I will have packets ready for the snow plowing bids for the town roads, ready in my office by 9 AM when the building opens.
Okay.
What are we doing about the,
Take me at my word at that.
what are we doing about the town properties and sidewalks? We're gonna have another special town meeting? We'll have to have another special town meeting then.
We've got a workshop for that.
But we'll have to have another special,
Get done by then. Workshop. I hope so. Get in here and work.
yeah.
Isn't that contract up next year?
I think we extended it for 1 year.
I thought it was 2027.
I'll have to look at it.
Ran out in 26, I got a copy of it right here.
Yep.
Yeah, 26, they all expired.
It's what's online is
It does
26.
say on the signed portion of the contract, 2027, May 1st.
But that's not true.
What's online says 26.
Okay.
remember, 'cause I read it, but I
2026, they
can't
were
remember
all initial, and the last page was 2025. They extended it to 2020, it was signed 2025 for another year, and it expires 2026. So they all three come due. Yeah. And just one more, salt and sand, has that been removed from the town?
No.
Property, because if we're gonna have a new contractor or the same contractor or whoever, they're gonna have their own space and not have to go around other people's.
Right. Yeah, no, that's all gonna have to be removed
Okay.
That'll be,
Okay.
that'll be for us to decide.
before the next
You
thing.
got your,
It'll be for us to decide if they can store their salt down there.
Yeah.
a private contractor?
Yep, it's up to the select board to decide.
Oh, okay.
I would move to
Okay.
adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor? Good night.